ABC Sport.
On ABC Sport, this is the AFL.
Room to steady and finish.
It's close to the goal line and mighty good there. Another one.
Sit back, relax, witness the greatest. It don't get better than this.
Brandy from 55 and right on the way home. Huge fend off and kicks the goal. The skipper off a step finishes.
Take a seat, 'cause it don't get better than this.
Right foot strike. He's got it. Oh, the home fans like that. Takes a bounce. Unguarded. Goal square. He's got it. Reed's going to go for goal. Oh, my goodness. That truly is remarkable.
This is the 2025 AFL Premiership season on ABC Sport.
Take a seat, 'cause it don't get better than this.
On radio, on digital, and on the ABC Listener.
You take a seat, 'cause it don't get better than this.
It is the 10th annual country game, Essendon versus Geelong, and yet it's Scott 1000 is the headline, and that is the combination of Brad Scott and Chris Scott. 1,000 games in the competition as now player and coach between them. Chris after 562, Brad after 437, and today they break through that four figures as a collective. It is an amazing milestone, an interesting quirk of the fixture, and they just so happen to bring it up against one another this afternoon at the MCG. Welcome to ABC Sports coverage as Saturday footy continues at the mighty Melbourne Cricket Ground. The 10th annual country game, so there's been buses that have been brought in from everywhere, including Bendigo and Ballarat, Shepparton, Echuca and Morwell, all to be here to support the cause this afternoon. There is no late change for either of these two teams. Archie Perkins, the sub for the Bombers, and Mitch Duncan is the sub for the Cats. Bailey Smith is in from the side that was too good for the Suns last Saturday, while for Essendon they had their 9th and 10th debutants of the season. Archie May is going to make his debut, the 20-year-old who Collingwood committed to in the mid-season draft unless a side picked him first, and sure enough they did, the Bombers swooping at pick 6. They also took Lockie Blackiston out of East Fremantle. He's a 26-year-old ruckman who's going to play a few different roles for them this afternoon. Let's see what we get out of the 9th and 10th new face at Essendon this season. Their most in any single season since way back in 1974. My name's Corbin Middlemass. Matt Clinch is here to call the footy with me. Good afternoon, Clinchy.
Good afternoon, Corby. Good afternoon, everyone. Yes, 1,000 games for Brad and Chris Scott. We know how close twins are, and to think they've been on this football journey for the best part of 25 years. Chris, of course, has the premiership success as a coach, going at 67% across his journey. Brad is a little under 50 at the moment at 49. But you just wonder the inner workings between the two over Christmas dinner or the odd catch-up for a birthday. Are they sort of comparing notes about what they've done throughout the week? And it feels like Brad is trying to coach the ears off this young Essendon side. Great to see Ted Richards down in the room, Sean Wellman as well, to present those jumpers for the Bombers faithful who come along tonight thinking, well, they can play similar to how they did against the Blues last week. They'd walk away with their heads high thinking they're on the right path. The Cats just went to work against the Gold Coast Suns. I was down at Cardinia Park last week, and wow, the game of Tom Stewart and Jack Henry, that will give Damien Hardwick some nightmares and maybe some fellow top 8 opposition coaches as well.
Our premiership pair in the second row, one man who knows Brad Scott extremely well is Essendon's youngest premiership player on planet Earth, Adam Ramanauskas. Good afternoon, Ram.
Yes, good afternoon. It looks like a nice little crowd building as well, which is it's a very chilly 12 degrees in Melbourne today. So I was just out at the local football watching my eldest son play, and
you get a kick?
Yeah, he got a couple of kicks and had a win, which was nice. So it was chilly out there, but look, it's an exciting opportunity, I think, for Essendon. You want to always test yourself against the best, particularly if you're a young side, and there's not too many that are going better than Geelong. So I also think when you're promoting your 9th and 10th debutant, that means you've got a hell of a lot of injuries as well. Nice. So there is a silver lining to injuries in debuts, but at the same time, they would like to have a few of those 10 that are out.
The Scott's usually very matter-of-fact. Yeah. Even Chris Scott acknowledged this week, it's an amazing coincidence. Here we are reaching this milestone against one another. I know people roll their eyes and say, I'm sure the AFL planned it that way. I'm not sure for something as interesting as this they would bother to arrange the fixture like that, but it is a happy coincidence. Do you think it would mean something to Brad to think, wow, that's pretty cool, we've reached 1,000 games together?
I think it would just mean that they've been involved in football for a long time, and they've both had a significant impact on the game. Firstly, as players in premierships, and then obviously Chris with premierships with Geelong as well. And I think that's what Brad's striving for, clearly, to be a premiership coach at Essendon, but a significant contribution by both.
11-5 to head-to-head record, and yet the one final that they've met against one another, that was a Brad Scott victory coaching North Melbourne against the Cats way back in 2014. The Collingwood Premiership player in 2010, Luke Ball, is with us again on ABC Sport. Afternoon, Bally.
Hi, Corby. Great to be here. Good country boy, you know I am. So really happy to be here.
When I think country game, I think Luke Ball.
Yeah, no, I'm probably being a bit facetious there, aren't I?
In the city, suburban
ground. The hard
yeah.
knocks of Glen Iris. Mum certainly a Gippsland girl growing up, and Dad from Oyen. So,
yeah, save your college, Joe, to
indulge me a bit. Indulge me a bit, Rammer. I mean, you're a Vic Metro as well. So
I'm a long way from Metro.
We're probably both lucky to be here, but no, I'm looking forward to this. I mean, on paper, it does shape as potentially a bit one-sided, given the form that the Cats are in, and Bailey Smith comes back into that team. Some key outs, further outs go for the Bombers. But yeah, I'm with you. I come along really excited to have a look at some of these players. I love the stories of players who get overlooked early on. I mean, you look at these new boys. Blakiston, 203 centimetres. Archer May, 198 centimetres. Of course, we don't list the weights anymore for whatever reason. But looking forward to seeing them. He's in Cale Hooker's old number. He's a big brute of a lad. So. You're right. Challenges very much there for the Bombers, but with that comes opportunity. And for Chris and Brad, it should mean something. Yeah. It's a bloody hard caper. Yeah. So for them, to last that long, to have so much success, good on them.
Couple of good country boys at the coin toss, though, from Moggs Creek, Paddy Dangerfield, and the boy from Cobden in Zach Merritt shaking hands. And the Cats are going to kick to the city end. Razor Ray Chamberlain is with us as he is every Saturday afternoon on ABC Sport. On the boundary, good afternoon, Razor.
Good afternoon, guys. We're expecting 60,000 in here strong. Bit of a swirly breeze, which, to be honest, just keeps the surface nice and dry in the twilight. So I think the ball handling skills will be great. And, Wally, I was just thinking about your country origins, and what sprung to mind was definitely boat shoes ahead of Blundstones. So it's a bit of a stretch, mate.
Careful of glass houses, Chamberlain. You're a Bayside boy. Don't worry about that.
I think between all five of us, we haven't stretched too hard into the country regions, have we, to put together a cool team. But we'll do our best to give a hat tip to all of those country footballers and volunteers and their great contribution to the game, which is what today is all about.
And send in the country scores for the local football.
Yeah.
Plenty of games going on at the moment.
0437 774 774. From the bush to the burbs is the tagline this year. And for Essendon, they're just hanging in there at 6-6 with an injury list as long as your arm. And the Cats, obviously, with high hopes again in season 2025, sitting pretty at 9-4.
Big midfield battle, Rama. Good to see Zach Merritt back in the centre bounce. Looks like Mullen probably goes to him. Setterfield standing, Bailey Smith.
The Cats chasing a fifth win on the trot to ensconce their spot inside the top four as they take on the Bombers on Saturday footy on ABC Sport. Goldstein wins down the opening tap, but Stanley's able to follow up and knock it forward. Max Holmes gathers, coming off a career best 40 disposals last week.
Jeez, Jackson Pryor has the roll on Paddy Dangerfield.
As Dangerfield came up to the initial stop pitch, now pushes back inside 50. Goldstein ducks out of a tackle from Stanley. Hand pass to Setterfield. Gets the hand pass away to McGrath. Drives the kick up towards half forward in the direction of Guelphy. Wright got there late to make the contest. Spoils it to the front. Merritt can't gather. Lawson Humphries with a quick kick forward. No mark claimed in the end by Caldwell. He does get a hand pass out to McGrath. Veers back on his right. It's not a great kick inside 50. Blitzar's underneath it. Guelphy going back with a flight. With eyes not on the footy, gives away the free kick. And Mark Blitzer has to take the free kick for Geelong in the right back pocket.
It wasn't a great kick, but I love Andy McGrath penetrating and running forward, Rammer. I think sometimes he gets caught up going side to side, crabbing a bit. I love metres gained for Andy McGrath.
Here's O'Sullivan out of Albury. I've got 12 country Cats. Need to be careful saying that. And for the Bombers, there's 8 country Bombers of the 15. Long kick out towards Holmes on the wing. Kicks down to half forward. Blitzarves takes the mark in front of Lamont Llewell. Here's Blitzarves. Hand pass back to Holmes. One of the Dash brothers. Bally keeps on running. Chips it into the pocket and Stanley marks.
Yeah, I'm coming off an unbelievable game last week without Bailey Smith, without one of the brothers.
Yeah.
He said, righto, I'll pick up the slack for both of us. 41 possessions, best on ground last week. Just see the running power across this Geelong team too. That was Blitzarves who took the intercept mark. He deep in defensive 50 and then he bobs up again forward of centre wing. So big, this Geelong side, all across the field. They're just enormous.
Reece Stanley from Berry in regional South Australia. His right-footed drop punt is sensational. Right to the line, and it's whacked through. Leaping up and punching it over the line, Nick Martin. So first score of the day is a rush behind. It goes Geelong's way. This is Saturday footy on ABC Sport. Perkins and Duncan, the two subs.
As Roberts brings the Bombers back into play to Nick Martin. Down low, that's a tough kick where Mark O'Connor lays the tackle. Ball is stuck underneath Pryor in the umpire circles and will ball it up. Right forward pocket for Geelong. With the opening behind of the match through 2 minutes. Saturday footy on ABC Sport. Neil doing the ruck against Goldstein. Goldstein was held on the free kick going the way of the experienced Bomber. Feeds the hand pass around the back, trying to find an avenue to clear. As Gus Clark looks for a kick across half back, it's looking towards Dersma. Dempsey and he in a tangle. Dempsey gets a free kick for a hold. Looks for Manor on the lead. And he runs into space and hugs it to his chest, just slightly left of centre, 45 metres out from goal.
Well, that's going to be a good matchup. I think Xavier Dersma and Ollie Dempsey, both super athletes. So it'll be an athletics contest out on that Shane Warne side of the ground for the majority of the day. But just the form of Sean Manor over the past probably 6-8 weeks, he's top 5 in terms of AFL ratings as a general forward in the competition.
I reckon he's gone past Stengel and certainly not Myers, but in terms of his role in this Geelong team.
12 goals, 8 for the season as Sean Manor comes in to get things going for the Cats, and he tops the first of the afternoon. The mature age recruit wasting no time getting involved this afternoon, and through 3 minutes Geelong have the opening goal of the match. They're 1-1-7 to the Bombers yet to score. Curiously, 7 marks to 1 the opening stages here. Adam Ramanaskas, a loop ball with you.
Yeah, Ramo, I think on form, I think he's gone past probably Brad Close. I think Myers is still that number one small forward, and we know it's such a strength of theirs how their forwards get really high up the ground and then with their running power release back. But Manor does it both sides of the ball too, doesn't he? He tackles, he chases, and he finishes. He doesn't need many looks at it. And he's been hitting the scoreboard. Well, yeah, you're right. What a pickup he's been. Just a bit of a mistake from Angus Clark there. You love the confidence of a young player.
You get to grass that.
That's right, yeah. And he went back across goal, but just didn't need to play on. He had Geelong players queuing up behind the ball and caused the turnover.
Hurried kick forward for Smith as the Cats with a quick centre break after the goal, and Jackson Pryor intercepts but misses his intended target. Cleaned up by Merritt, hand pass to Goldstein, sweeping Polly Farmer, hand pass to Dersma. Off and running, heads to half forward, outstretched, no mark as May got hands to it, spills to Gresham, hand pass to Martin, half forward for the Bombers, gives it to May, slips over, regathers, gives it to Gresham, tight angle right half forward, he just kicks it from there. The marksman, Jade Gresham, kicks Essendon's first. And something out of nothing for the Bombers. 1-1 to 1 straight. Makes it a 1-point game early doors. We're 5 minutes in. This is Saturday footy on ABC Sport.
Yeah, and I like Archers May's first involvement there. It's at ground level. He's 198 centimetres, so he's a big human, no doubt about that. But he went down low, got the handball, got it into space, which was most pleasing, I think. And then Gresham, Essendon are going to have to kick those goals. Any time they've got a half chance today, they need to make the most of it. And Gresham, they're good enough to nail that goal.
Yeah, they are, aren't they? You get the sense they're not going to. I mean, Peter Wright's down there, we know. Caddy, who's got the matchup on O'Sullivan. What a great matchup that is. 2 young stars. But their ground level players are going to have to get to work today, aren't they? Like Gresham, little Kako is going to have to get involved. Guelphy will play more of a defensive role. And Nick Martin, who's been in magnificent form. You feel like they're all going to have to impact the scoreboard today for the Bombers to have any chance.
The voice of Blue Ball with you on ABC Sport. Back in the middle of the ground. Stanley wins down the tap against Goldstein. Came out to Setterfield. Can't get the disposal away. Bailey Smith works it back to Stanley. His hand pass to Holmes. He's tackled immediately by Nick Martin, and the umpire will ball it up just to the left of the outer of the centre circles. Floodlights on here at the MCG. Natural light doing the job as Parrish gets a clearing kick. Coming one direction was right. The other was Zach Guthrie. They collide. It's picked up by Guelphy. Hand pass to Parrish. Centering ball for Caddy. Dropped the mark. Had the first bite. Couldn't hang on to it. Hand pass out to Setterfield. Back into the centre square for Roberts. To Martin. Blindsided to the tackle of Close. Hand pass almost chopped off. Guelphy tries to cut through a couple. Stanley knocked the ball out. Picked up by Goldstein. Hand pass to Roberts, to Kako. Back to Archie Roberts. Out wide, and Lyle takes the mark at left half forward. Wants to poke it in the pocket. Why not? Peter Wright's all on his own. He's close to the boundary, but 35 metres out from goal.
See, this is where Geelong loves sitting back as a defensive unit. Essendon will have they'll have possession. They're a possession team. But that's the kick. When you lower your eyes, just that little short one to Peter Wright and forces Sam DeConey to come out now.
Was targeted the most inside 50 last week against the Blues on 9 occasions. Looking to start things off here. He comes in. His shot is across the face. And just from left to right for a minor score. Got 3 goals straight last week. And scores a level at 1-1-7 apiece.
Just repeating the earlier game, GWS upset the Premiers at the Gabba, an 11-point win for the Giants. Errant kick out from the Cats. Pryor intercepts. Hand pass to Martin. The 1-2 with Parrish. Martin sizes them up. Hits the post. Shooting on the run from 40 out. Behind, it's a go-ahead score for the Bombers. They lead it by that behind. So 1-2 to 1-1. 7.5 minutes in. Saturday footy on ABC Sport.
Sullivan and Holmes combined as Holmes kicks up towards Guthrie, who's been okay. Back to his feet at left half-back. Feeds the hand pass to Connor O'Sullivan, who's slipped over. Has enough time to recover. Hand pass to Myers, helping out in the back half. Looks one way, then the other. Has to kick down the line in the direction of Close. He's surrounded by 3 Bombers. It's gathered by Pryor. Hand pass too sharp for Parrish. Here's a chance for the Cats, though. O'Shea Mullen might have caught one in the eye. And the Cats take the advantage through Shannon Neal. Looks out towards Jeremy Cameron. Laverty in tail. Cameron trying to race after and it trickles out of play. Well, the boundary line meets the 50-metre arc and a throw in. 8 minutes gone in the opening term. The Bombers by a point. Saturday footy on ABC Sport.
It's a big job for Jaden Laverty.
Huge job. But there's no other option.
Yeah.
So Blackiston, the first game where he's got Shannon Neal.
Yeah.
So there's no other option other than Jaden Laverty.
Had Charlie Curnow last week.
Yeah.
Jeremy Cameron this week.
Blackiston, by the way, is a ruckman in the waffle. He's now playing fullback on Shannon Neal. Essendon at the stoppage eventually. Setterfield, Goldstein, Llewell. Hand pass over to Merritt. Clever kick. Pulls it back inboard. Finds Kako in the outer corridor. Keeps running. Pushes away from Mullen. Hand pass broken up. There's Holmes, the road runner. Meek grabs it and immediately evades the would-be tackle of Daywicks. Hand pass to O'Connor, to Myers, threads a handball through to Mullen, got it off to his Irish mate O'Connor, handball over the top to Mullen, good tackle Roberts, come here he says, ball spits out, Parrish cleans it up to Roberts for the Bombers, he gives it to Daywicks, centering kick, finds Kako on the wing for the Bombers, up by 1, 9 minutes in.
He had no one in the middle of the ground, so had to hand pass to Clark, whose hand pass set a challenge, charging in, Zach Johnson was bumped off it, the Bombers managed to hang on to possession though, as Dersma out towards the wing, Nick Martin takes the mark. On the worn wing of the MCG, Essendon leading by a point.
Well, they had no forwards coming back at them. We bang on about it every week, Rammer. 3 Essendon forwards who had one-on-ones ahead of the footy were all rushing back towards goal. Poor Isaac Kako looked up and come at me, come at me.
Martin waxes with Setterfield and then kicks up towards right half forward where Zach Johnson has pushed forward inside 50 over the head of Kako, spoiled down by O'Connor, running onto a Peter Wright. He can't get a clean hand pass away, lost the footy behind his head. That's what happens when you're that tall. It's gathered by Atkins, hand pass away to Dempsey through the middle of the ground. Dangerfield just fends off a tackle, hand pass out to Close on the worn wing, up towards Cameron, who hugs it to his chest with Laverty in tail.
Umpire telling Laverty to get back on the mark as he followed Cameron through. Told to stand about 70 out in that launch pad for the Cats. Cameron pokes it inside 50, turns it over cold. And Setterfield takes the intercept mark.
I'm not sure who he was kicking to there, Jeremy Cameron.
I think Brad Close looked at him too and said, was that meant for me?
Yeah, it was easily 5 metres away from Brad Close. Just looked like it was a direct pass to Will Setterfield.
Across the goal face to Jackson Pryor. Hand pass away to Gus Clark. That's not his best kick. Turns it over. Guthrie for Geelong. Hand pass to Atkins. Short kick to Humphreys. 55 metres out. Looks inside 50 in a dangerous spot. Cameron backpedaling. If he didn't take the mark, he was getting a free for the front on contact. And Cameron's got it right forward pocket for the Cats.
You want to encourage the run from Angus Clark. But this is the result if you turn the ball over coming back into the corridor against Geelong. Jeremy Cameron, you know, he has these for breakfast, these little snaps around the corner.
It's a familiar setup. He squeezes the ends of the footy to make sure he gets solid purchase, hooks it around off the left peg and no problems. Jez is in business early and the Cats grab the lead back. 2-1 to 1-2. 5-point lead for Geelong. We have been travelling a dozen minutes. This is Saturday footy on ABC Sport with Adam Ramanaskas and Luke Ball.
You feel a bit for Jaden Laverty there. You mentioned before, Rama, what a big job he's got today. I mean, with a fully fit squad to choose from, he's probably the third or fourth option, isn't he, for Jeremy Cameron? But yeah, Charlie Kerner last week, and I thought after getting nutted a few times early, I thought he fought on pretty well and squared it off after half-time, but not much you can do about that. You're right, Angus Clark, that's twice now. Again, you like the run, but it's just about knowing when to do it. It's just that game sense about knowing when to do it and then execute. And composure to execute. And that kick missed by 10 metres, didn't it? And in the end, I mean, you just can't turn it over through the middle of the ground against this Geelong team. They're the number one in the comp at punishing from turnover.
Blue ball on Adam Ramanauskas with you on ABC Sport. Leads the Coleman medal now by 5 goals. Jeremy Cameron, Jamie Elliott with the weekend off. Blitzav's in the middle of the ground. Up against Wright, comes down to Atkins. Hand pass to Bailey Smith. Cats fans happy to see him back. Up towards Neil, caught behind. No mark claimed in the end by Blacketson, who tries to tap it out on Deboo to Caldwell. Feeds a hand pass back to Johnson. The hand pass is a little loose, so he races after it, but then slips over in the back pocket. Hand pass out to Pryor, your problem to deal with. Got it away to Roberts, back to Lual. It's all under tight pressure. Hand pass to Parrish, back to Roberts. His kick ricochets off Blitzavs. Out of bounds on the full. Free kick going the way of the Bombers. They will get a bit of relief here.
There's a lot of handball from Essendon at the moment. 24 kicks and 40 handballs. So that ratio is just completely wrong at the moment for the Bombers. Inviting Geelong's pressure.
Yeah, and that's the point, isn't it? If it's a handball to release into space, they're fine, but you called it then, Clinchy. If it's a handball to say, oh, no, here, let's make it your problem, you handle the pressure, that's where you just invite this Geelong forward pressure.
Contest kick down the wing, and Peter Wright, unrealistic attempt, leapt in the air, didn't touch the footy. Free kick for Blitzarf, Smith the target, contact from Martin in the other direction. Ball comes the way of the Bombers. Picked up here, and a little hand pass back inboard from Caldwell, got the 1-2, but just sold himself into a little bit of trouble there as he tried to feed it to Wright.
It's a balance, isn't it, Raman? Because we know this Geelong team set up so well behind the ball, so these Bombers players probably reluctant just to bomb long down the line, but sometimes you've just got to take your medicine and try and get a contest ahead of the footy rather than over handball.
Cats by 5 points, 14 minutes in. Boundary throwing on the wing. Blitzarves extracts it. Hand pass away, but straight to Martin of the Bombers. Handball to Wright. Look away handball as Miss Kako is running forward. The Cats intercept. Guthrie to Smith. Hand pass to Manor. Kicks inside 50. Miss kicks it. Puts it out on the full. Leading lane was Jeremy Cameron, but the kick too far from him. Essendon footy deep in defence. 5-point lead for Geelong.
Laverde comes inboard to Nick Martin, who looks to try and switch it to the right back pocket. Pryor takes the mark. He chips it over the top to Johnson. Now right half back. Leading up is Xavier Dersma. He takes the mark on his chest. He comes inboard. Risky kick for Archie Roberts. Stengel chops it off. Takes back possession for Geelong. Hand pass to Myers. Off the outside of the boot. Lace out to Cameron. That is when he is so dangerous. Squire Myers. A turnover in a poor position. And Laverde's going to have a tough afternoon if that's how the Bombers are going to transition.
Summed it up perfectly there, Clinchy. That's, the second time Laverde's been left just cold through a turnover, coming back. Look, you love coming back through the middle, no doubt, and that should be encouraged. But you've got to execute, must execute. On that occasion, Xavier Dersma, just a simple mistake.
Jeremy Cameron for his second. He comes in from 35 metres out. And the Cats once more look to try and build consecutive goals. An 11-point lead, 3-1-19 to the Bombers, 1-2-8. Jeremy Cameron's last 5 weeks, 7 goals, 6 goals, 5 goals, and 1 behind last week against the Gold Coast Suns. He is looking ominous this afternoon.
And he'll kick 10. If that's
okay.
But if Essendon continue to turn the ball over like that, across Geelong's half-forward line, you want to turn the ball over deep inside your forward 50 against Geelong. Paulie mentioned it, number 1 team at scoring from turnover. So where Essendon are turning the ball over at the moment, it's just completely playing into Geelong's hands.
What's the over-under at the moment on Jezza? 8?
Yeah, 7.5.
Over-under.
Ram's giving him 10.
I'll take over at the moment.
Wow. Ram?
Under.
Under 7.5. There we go. We'll follow that one this afternoon. Geelong jump out to an early 11-point lead. Atkins got it at the coalface, gives it to Smith. Hurried kick inside 50. Broken up down there by Blackiston. Ball hits the deck. Essendon still a chance through Johnson, but Stengel too good. Hands it to Manor. He trickles it through. And the Cats are humming now. 3 in quick succession. And Geelong bust out to a 17-point break. 4-1 to 1-2. We've been travelling 17 minutes in the opening term. This is Saturday Footy on ABC Sport with Luke Ball and Adam Ramanauskas.
And that's the problem, isn't it, Rammer? I thought Essendon actually started well. I thought their first 5 or 6 minutes was really good. They were coming forward to defend, locking the ball in their front half, didn't take their opportunities. Think Peter Wright here in the pocket. Nick Martin running into an open goal, hitting the post. You'd expect him to kick those and one or two others. And then you turn the ball over through overuse and invite this Geelong team to get their mojo going, and we know, as you said, how good they are once they do that. So red alert here for the Bombers. Get their good players. You look down in the middle now. It's Caldwell, Merritt, Setterfield. Get them in the centre bounce. Got to try and shut this game down, close it down, see if they can't maintain a bit of possession.
Have you got something for us, Razor Ray? Nope.
Nope.
No. What do you make of it all so far?
Just the pressure on the football and their poor use by hand and foot. They just, as your boys have said, turn the ball over there, and this side will tear you apart every day.
Here's Zach Merritt out of the middle for the Bombers. Kicks down low. Stewart in front of Guelphy. Can't take the mark. Spills out the way of Lawson Humphreys. Picked up by Caddy. His kick is smothered though. Ricochets back to Kako. Tom Atkins lays the tackle. Back to Guelphy, who fires on goal and creates something out of nothing. They just muscled it forward in the end. The footy landed in the hands of Matt Guelphy. He's got a defensive role on Tom Stewart. He snapped on the right, and a much-needed goal after the Cats had kicked the previous 3 goals in the match back to an 11-point margin. 4-1-25 to the Bombers, 2-2-14. Matt Guelphy went his 3rd goal of the season.
Well, you love that because it's fight in the centre circle, but it's also then fight directly in front of your goal, 20 metres out. So first it's Guelphy with a little tackle on Stewart, then it's Caddy just trying to keep the ball rolling forward, then it's Kako holding his feet rather than just accepting the tackle with a little handball out to Guelphy for a goal. So you love that fight. That's the effort that Essendon need to show. Rather than these little handballs, just roll the ball forward. Get that territory gain that you need. 9
entries each. Geelong by 11 points. Back in the middle, Goldstein to hit out. Off the square comes O'Connor, locked up by Merritt. Says I'll have it. Archie Perkins and Mitch Duncan, the 2 subs, no late change. We had chrome skies for most of the day, and yet the clouds have cleared. Blue skies at the moment, yellow Sharon out, floodlights on. Here's some service, straight down to Caldwell. Kicks into the forward pocket, but De Koning gets away from right. Picks it off, takes the intercept mark. Oh, De Koning trying to come back inboard, just got it to Humphreys. Taking it low down.
Just had to finish, didn't he, Jai Caldwell? Brilliant clearance. Wasn't a clean clearance out the front.
But again, the forwards have got to come at him.
Yeah, give him something.
Martin to Stewart, and a long kick down the wing. Punched away there by Dersma on the wing for the Bombers. Goldstein handball back inboard. Dersma tackles O'Connor. Ball spits out. Johnson for the Bombers to Gresham to Pryor to McGrath. Just got it away to Johnson.
As Johnson looks back up the members' wing, chips a kick to Gresham. Kicked an early goal for the Bombers. He turns on a dime, kicks up towards Caldwell. Hand pass to Kako. Great transition. Swings onto the right, trying to get it out over the back. In the direction, no mark claim in the end, flying at the back. It's brought down though. Caddy swings around his shoulder. After Day-Weeks brought it to ground level, misses to the right-hand side. Geelong's lead is 10 points, with the Bombers having a good few minutes here.
Martin again marks the kick out from Stewart and goes short to Smith. Jack Henry and Tom Stewart had 18 intercepts last week against Gold Coast, so Brad Scott going to work on that. As Quincy mentioned the Guelphy role, and we'll watch that closely throughout the day. Martin receives it again, gives it to Smith, turns it over. Another error off the boot as he kicks it straight to Goldstein, who marks on the wing for Essendon. Geelong by 10 as we tick into time on opening term at the G.
Goldstein around the back. Zach Johnson is the transition play. Kicks not a good one up towards half forward. Zach Merritt was racing back towards goal, and intercept mark taken by Jack Martin, his 2nd game in the hoops. As he switches across half back to Tom Atkins, the tackling machine. Out to Lawson Humphreys, and this is where Geelong transitions so well. Out to Dempsey, who's streaming down the worn wing. Hand pass over the top to Holmes at left half forward. Looks up, Stengel into the pocket. Great transition from one end to the other with exact, precise kicking. And Tyson Stengel now has the shot on goal.
If you drew up a training drill in terms of how to transition the ball from one end to the other, that's exactly how you want to do it. Take the mark on a half-back flank, then it's two switches across the ground, then you're out to the wing, and then you're having a set. Probably they'll want the angle probably a little bit inside that where they are. But it was a perfect transition from Geelong.
Tyson Stengel off the back of a season-high 4 goals last week. Out to the left forward pocket. He comes in. He likes these angles and he just misses to the left-hand side. The Geelong cheer squad ready to explode. Minor score. The Cats by 11 points. 22 minutes gone. Saturday footy on ABC Sport.
Johnson with the kick-out duties. One of the 10 debutants this year for Essendon. Kicks down the wing to another one in May. Broken up before it got there. Jack Henry knocks it down. Humphreys had a play on it. Spills back to Henry. Hand pass got it through to Smith. Hand pass flings out wide. Finds Cameron. 60 out. Kicks back inboard. Superb. And Myers takes the mark. True centre half forward. Kicks into the pocket. Leaping out of Dangerfield. Good spoil in the other direction. Broken up by May, the first gamer. Pryor. Back pocket. Long kick. Turnover. And O'Sullivan takes the intercept mark. High half forward for Geelong.
Connor O'Sullivan's going to go all the way back to Jack Martin in the middle of the MCG. He can switch it out to Stewart. He marks towards the Warn wing. They are just picking holes in the Essendon defence. Kicks out towards Zach Guthrie. Marks it left half forward. Zach Merritt racing back. Guthrie veers out to the right. Long towards the teeth of goal. Stanley sets himself. Can't come down with the footy. O'Connor throws a boot at it. Just couldn't quite get it through the major opening. A minor score for Mark O'Connor. Cats leading by 12 points.
Ram, you mentioned about the almost like a training drill how to move the ball. Is that more emphasis on good Cats in how they moved it, or the fact that Essendon allowed them to do that?
Bit of both. Yeah, a bit of both. Yeah, but Geelong, the good side's just so slick. It was Humphreys. He didn't even think. Looked inside, hit the kick, and then that just opens up the open side of play, and that's really hard to defend.
Pryor kicks to half back, marked by Wright, but there's a free kick spotted in all that, and it's going Geelong's way. I must admit I missed that as Blitzarves gives it away towards Smith, puts it back inside 50, flying through, huge mark. It's Shannon Neal bursting up at true centre half forward, and in a pack of 5 or 6 he rips it down out of the night sky.
He split both Zach Merritt and Will Setterfield there, he was just coming at full pace, so Merritt and Setterfield really couldn't do much about it. But it's a really, really smart kick by Bailey Smith.
Ray Chamberlain on the boundary.
You talk about the transition play of the Geelong Cats. What jumps off the page in comparison is the way they use the ball, but the gut running of Max Holmes was impressive.
Neal on the drop punt. He's got it. I dare say that ankle's okay. Subbed out early last week, subbed out to play this week. And not only is leaping off and landing safely, and he's goaling on the end of it. 5-3 to 2-3. It is an 18-point buffer Geelong's way. This is Saturday footy on ABC Sport as we tick towards quarter time.
Well, yeah, just get a good look at the free kick. I think it was paid for a block in the marking contest there to Blitzarves, which is a bit of a shame for Bombers fans because they had the footy in their hands. And then Smith, who's just starting to get rolling a little bit, getting his hands on the footy, up to 9 possessions. Hasn't kicked it all that well, but that one was a nice kick out into space for Neal to run onto. I mentioned it before, Emma. They are just massive, this Geelong team, all over the park. Blitzarves here on the wing.
Big, fast and
strong.
Aren't
they? They're just strong all over the ground. It's an obvious gap with this younger, more inexperienced Bombers team today.
Satterfield alongside Bailey Smith. Caldwell alongside Max Holmes. And Shane Mullins in there alongside McGrath. Bombers trying to get a little toe poke forward. Caldwell trying to link up with Merritt. He couldn't gather an O'Shea Mullen on the bottom of the pack. The Bombers have had their problems in opening quarters. The Blues put on 6 goals to 1 last week. They fought back after that, but giving up such a margin. O'Shea Mullen for Geelong. Hand pass to O'Connor. Kicks out towards Neal. He takes the mark. In front of Blackiston. He's just inside the 50. He's looking for options initially, but now he'll concede and have a shot on goal once more. Having kicked the last of the match. 14, now 15 goals for the season. He's been consistent. Once more, he's in the top 20 for contested marking. Shannon Neal starts his approach out to the left. Looking to set flight. It's a pretty good effort, and through it goes once more. Back-to-back goals for Shannon Neal. And all of a sudden, that's 5 of the last 6 goals of the match. It's a 24-point lead the Cats way. 6-3-39 to the Bombers. 2-3-15. 27 minutes gone, opening term. Saturday footy on ABC Sport. Adam Ramanauskas and Luke Ball, your experts.
Well, if you think about doing an apprenticeship as a player, there's no better apprenticeship than Shannon Neal's had. So, one, he gets to work with Jeremy Cameron every day, but he had Tom Hawkins for the first couple of years of his career. So, it's brilliant planning by Geelong in terms of their recruitment and how they draft. New Hawk was coming to the end, no doubt. So let's go and find the best key position player around the country in the draft, get him into our system, and this is the result you're getting now. Hawkins retires last year, obviously, and you've got Shannon Neal, just a ready-made replacement.
Well, he should be licking his lips today, playing on the first gamer.
Goldstein grabs it out of the ruck, hacks a kick forward, turns it over. O'Connor, the intercept mark. So game-high advantage, 4 goals the Cats' way. Short kick to Holmes, hand pass away to Humphreys. On the wing, squeeze the kick down the wing, and Blackiston jumps in front of Neal to take the intercept mark. The young man on debut gives it to the skipper, Merritt. Short kick to Martin. 24 points, Geelong's lead. 28 gone in the term. Martin, low trajectory drop punt is a dart. Finds Caldwell. He marks, looks inside 50, and Caldwell just genuflects to take the mark. True centre-half forward, he'll kick from 40 out.
And that's the thing. Because of how young Essendon are, you look there in that passage of play. Merritt's involved to Martin. Martin's involved to Caldwell. Now Caldwell to Gresham. Essendon need their best players playing really well to be competitive.
It's good kicking too, wasn't it? And the key to it was they just took the ball off the line, lowered their eyes. We know how good Geelong are down the line, supporting each other in the air. Lowered their eyes and hit the kicks.
A kick 2 last week, and Jade Gresham had a chance to have 2 in the opening term. He misses that. An underwhelming season so far, at least in terms of the returns he's got goals-wise. This is his 11th game, just the 8 majors. The second-year bomber. Cats by 23 deep into time on in the opening term. It's a Saturday footy on ABC Sport.
Guthrie into Stewart, up to Humphreys, and then back inside the defensive 50 to Stewart. Switches to Bailey Smith. Takes the mark in the right back pocket. Possession number 10 coming up. Having missed last week with hamstring tightness. Kick towards Max Holmes. Guelphy gets a hand in there. Guthrie kept it alive with a hand pass back to Jack Henry over the top of a tackler. And links it back up with Henry, and now to Holmes. Switches inside the defensive 50 to O'Connor. So it feels like there's an intent here for Geelong to try and keep the ball in motion as much as they can. Out towards Myers. Really stretch this inexperienced Bombers side. Myers turns inboard, back to O'Connor. They're still at left half back though. And now Stewart is on his own. Out on the worn wing. He takes the mark at left half back. No one stands the mark. Peter Wright's happy to concede 5 to 10 metres and chip it back inside to O'Connor. See if you can get him going forward.
Yeah. Happy to take the last of the seconds out of the quarter, so half a minute left. 23-point lead for Geelong. DeConing back, flank, dangerous kick, finds Guthrie. The contact over the shoulder from Guelphy on the attempted spoil. Free kick for the Cats. The Blondies link up, and hand pass to Smith. Too much hang time in the kick. And Mullen has it broken up by Setterfield. Boundary throw in right on halfway. Ray Chamberlain.
I'll give the Bombers their due, particularly their front six. Caddy, they got that ball inside 50. That came on the effort of him chasing the ball carrier for 40 metres on that outer wing. So they're digging in and they're having a go.
6-3 to 2-4. 23-point lead for Geelong. Boundary throwing, knocked away in front of Dersma. Sells a dummy around Dempsey. Drills a kick to Martin. Is there time left in the turn for the Dons? Hand pass to Setterfield. Kicks to half forward. Turns it over. And Guthrie marks right on the bell. And Geelong with a 6-goal outburst to start this game. 6-3 to 2-4. And at quarter time, it is Geelong by 23 points. The goal kickers in that opening term, 3 goal kickers for the Cats. They've all got 2 each. Cameron, Manna and Neal. The first of the game was kicked by Manna. Meanwhile, for Essendon, Gresham's got 1. And Matt Guelphy has the other. The SMS, get your country scores in, of course. What we want to hear from people. So 0437 774 774. Country footy, or the country game, 10th edition of it, Essendon, Geelong. So if you're out at a country venue, we want your score. Let us know what's happening there, and we'll happily read it out. If you've got one from Collie Amberley as well, we'll be keen to know.
Yeah, we'll be very keen to know that one.
How our man Brett Delidio is going out there playing a bit of country footy today. Rich from Ocean Grove says a worrying trend in footy this year is for lesser teams to play their best game of the season against my beloved Cats. St Kilda, Carlton, GWS, please put a stop to it. From Rich, we love theories like that, particularly when it relates to your team. Appreciate that, Rich. Steve-O from Busso in WA down in beautiful Bustleton. After listening to Absolute Gold from Acker commentating today, any chance the ABC can team him with Razor Ray Chamberlain for special comments? You will win awards, trust me, from Steve. I appreciate that. And from Dean and Koroit, why can't Country Round have games outside the cities? Like Ballarat, Bunbury, Alice Springs, Canberra, Launceston, Mount Barker. Gold Coast with a marquee game at Geelong to play the entire round in the sticks. Appreciate that, Dean. Perhaps one for Josh Bowler to think about the fixture boss. This is the centrepiece of it. There has been a whole lot of country folks bust in. Footy clubs have done that for a number of years now and put on a mega event here at the MCG to acknowledge the great contribution from the country people towards the great game of Australian rules footy. The thoughts of Bawley and Rammer coming up next. The Cats by 23 at quarter time. This is Saturday Footy on ABC Sport.
Are comedians naturally good at spelling?
Guayabera, propolis, guacamole.
Find out in the brand new season of Guy Montgomery's Guy Mont Spelling Bee. Stream all the episodes now on ABC iView.
This is the 2025 AFL Premiership season on ABC Sport.
May got hands to it, spills to Gresham, hand pass to Martin, half forward for the Bombers, gives it to May, the slips over, regathers, gives it to Gresham, tight angle right, half forward, he just kicks it from there. The marksman, Jade Gresham, kicks Essendon's first.
Leading up as Xavier Dersma takes the mark on his chest. He comes inboard, risky kick in for Archie Roberts. Stengel chops it off, takes back possession for Geelong. Hand pass to Myers, off the outside of the boot, lace out to Cameron. Jeremy Cameron for his second. He comes in from 35 metres out.
Atkins got it at the coalface, gives it to Smith. Hurried kick inside 50. Broken up down there by Blackiston. Ball hits the deck. Essendon still a chance through Johnson, but Stengel too good. Hands it to Nana. He trickles it through. And the Cats are humming now.
Here's Zach Merritt out of the middle for the Bombers. Kicks down low. Stewart in front of Guelphy. Can't take the mark. Spills out the way of Lawson Humphreys. Picked up by Caddy. His kick is smothered though. Ricochets back to Kako. Tom Atkins lays the tackle. Back to Guelphy, who fires on goal and creates something out of nothing.
This is ABC Sports coverage of the AFL.
On your radio.
ABC Sport Digital.
And on the ABC Listen app.
Earlier today, GWS by 11 points, upsetting the reigning premiers. We say bad kicking's bad football. The Giants kicked straight, and ultimately they got there. Well done to GWS on an 11-point win over the Lions. Quarter time here, Cats by 23. Luke Ball, Adam Ramanauskas on ABC Sport.
I didn't mind the way the Bombers started, Rammer. I thought their first 5 or 6 minutes was pretty good. I think they were getting their hands on the footy. They were coming forward to defend. They had the ball locked in their front half. They had some repeat inside 50s, just didn't take their chances, and you just said it there, Corb. I mean, and that's generally obviously the difference between the better teams and the ones that are on the rebuild or the younger teams at the moment. It's just that ability to execute, to make good decisions with composure, and then execute those, and they just didn't take a couple of those chances early, the Bombers. And then they turn the ball over, just trying to do a little bit too much. Some younger players, most of the times were the culprits. And like we've spoke about, when you turn the ball over between the arcs against this Geelong team, there's not many, or there's none better in the competition at going back the other way and making you pay. I mean, they had 12 inside 50s, the Bombers. Clearance is pretty even to 14. So they had it in there enough. Kicked 2 goals 4. The Cats are 6 goals 3 from their 14 inside 50. So unbelievable efficiency. Again, that's their one wood. That's why they're such a good team. They've got players like Jeremy Cameron forward of the ball. Shannon Neal, who, as we said, is playing on a debutant today. So the challenge is going to be there for them if they're having to defend from turnovers in between the arcs. I mean, it doesn't matter who you are. I mean, Matthew Scarlett, struggles to defend when the ball's turned over like it was a couple of times in that first quarter by the Bombers.
I think when you're playing against Geelong, you have to be ultra efficient with your ball use. Essendon that quarter, 49 kicks, 59 handballs. So the ratio's all wrong. And then when they kicked the football, they only kicked it at 59%. So, as just reiterating what Bawley said, falling into Geelong's hands. Geelong played for turnover. So you got to play against turnover if you're Essendon. So that's moving the ball quick. Yep, taking a little bit of risk with possession. But we saw at times there, once Geelong won the ball back from turnover, it was a training drill. It was a training drill going into their forward line, and it was simply too easy. So I want to see the risk from Essendon, more risk. But you've got to execute. You've got to execute with the risk.
That last bit of play, which unfortunately Jade Gresham didn't finish, that's the model, isn't it? Just lower your eyes, shift the ball off the line, 20 to 30 metre kicks, ball's in motion. It's not kamikaze, but the ball's in motion. Should have been a goal to the Bombers.
Cats by 23, second term underway. Ruck Sherritt in the middle. Stewart had it, lost it. Caldwell kicks out to the wing for the Bombers. Humphreys knocks it down. Kako's there at the drop, scoops it up, loops a hand pass over the top to Guelphy. He gives it to Merritt, threads one further forward to Daywicks, snatches it against the boundary line, kicks for goal and just misses. Part of the growing number of Archie/Archers in this Essendon team. Archie Roberts and Archie May and
Archie Perkins.
Archie Perkins. Thomas with at least 4 of them out there today.
Jack Henry into Stewart, into the back pocket for Max Holmes.
Depends if you count Xavier Dersma, who's an archer.
That's Ben Cameron areas.
That it certainly is. Cheerio to Ben, who's having a weekend off. Up towards Stanley. Spoiled down by Goldstein. It comes forward to Kako. Hand pass to Daywicks. Involved again. Hand pass to Merritt. Drives it inside 50. Right up against Stewart. Trying to protect front position. Trying to get it down to Gresham. But Stewart gathers for Geelong. Hand pass to O'Connor. One way then the other. Kicks off the outside of the right boot. Out towards the wing. Stengel underneath it. Going back with the flight was Daywicks. He got it down, but Stengel's able to gather for Geelong. Hand pass to Bailey Smith. Quick 1-2 as Bailey Smith looks up the wing, up towards half forward. Neil caught behind, just nudged Blackiston underneath it, takes the mark, trying to get it forward to Cameron, on the bounce to Dangerfield, half pass to Jeremy Cameron, swings onto his left, beautiful. Jezza has his third, and the Bombers just exposed there as Geelong, quick as a flash, got the ball into a couple of their main men's hands. Dangerfield, the provider for Jeremy Cameron. And just so easy for their 7th goal. 7-3-45 to the Bombers. 2-5-17. Just 2 minutes gone. Second quarter. Saturday footy on ABC Sport.
Quick as a flash, wasn't it? You just go back to that one-on-one deep inside the Bombers' front half. And I know he's a multiple All-Australian, Tom Stewart, but Peter Wright, you'd love him to extend there and just clunk that. You know, he's got 3 or 4 inches on Tom Stewart. And then the ball hits the deck and they don't see it again. And again, that's just clinical efficiency of this Geelong team. Bailey Smith starting to get rolling. They might have to look at just putting the clamps on him a bit. That's up to 13 possessions, 300 metres gained. And that time it was Shannon Neal, just a bit too tall, nudged his opponent under the ball. I thought he actually missed Cameron. He had Cameron streaming back towards goal, so they did it the hard way. Nice touch from Dangerfield with a goal assist.
New game high, 28 points, Geelong's lead. Secondary ball up. Didn't go anywhere in a hurry from the initial contest, and Goldstein in a tangle with Stanley. The umpires plucked one out here. It's going Stanley's way. Is that a bit of ruck lotto, Ray?
Jared will be going off. Hey, I tell you what, off the SMS, you're talking about the games going into the country.
Just quickly, Stanley inside 50 and Blitzarves pulls down a big contested grab at left half forward. Keep going, Ray.
Yo, I wonder what Bailey Smith would have made of that. After the pun with the Ballarat game with the Bulldogs, that would have been interesting.
Gotcha. Sorry, it took me a minute to pick up what you were putting down. But,
there's been that many storylines around him. We just had to sort of work through which one he was talking about.
Pick up my Labour Arch file of Bailey Smith stories. And
he's in action here, boys.
He's just given away a free kick. And again.
That'll be 50.
So he's given away a free kick off the ball as Cameron was meant to have a shot a little closer to goal. Smith caught in a tangle. And just dragged down Blackiston, and as a result, free kick for the Bombers. They've coughed it up anyway. Martin's kick didn't quite get to Roberts. Holmes inside 50. Dangerfield pulls it down. Men free in the goal square. It's Cameron. He's got it. He marks a metre out from the goal line.
Well, it was all part of Bailey's plan. He said, I'm not sure you can kick it from there, Jezza, so I'm going to give away a free kick and then we'll cause a turnover and you'll get one from the goal square.
I hope you're on the overs. He's got 4. Jeremy Cameron, 4 and counting. 8-3 to 2-5, and this Geelong lead swells. It's out to 34 points, 4 minutes into the second term. Saturday footy on ABC Sport.
Oh, it's just turnovers again. And, we're harping on that a lot, Paulie and I, but it's just the simple little skill errors. So, Bailey Smith gives the free kick away. Essendon win the ball back. But, again, it's just giving the ball away in the worst possible area of the ground, virtually at Geelong centre half forward. So they make you pay, and Corbs, there's a little text message that I'm looking at the top of our screen, which I hope is not true.
I've heard whispers that Brettles Delidio has pulled a quad.
Oh, no.
Early playing for Collie Amberley.
Not a calf.
He was worried about his calves.
Would have been $1.10 calf.
He was worried about the calves, but it turns out they've got through.
Setterfield gets the clearance for the Bombers. Hand pass to Zach Merritt. Feeds it to half-back. With a kick up towards half-forward. Guelphy can't take the mark. They'll get a free kick for a hole. Now Luol is going to take the advantage. Hand pass forward to Caldwell in the right forward pocket. Kicks looking for Caddy. Wrestling in the back. Over the back goal of Dempsey. Just rises on the back of Jack Henry and takes the mark in the right back pocket for Geelong. Righto, Lids, if you're listening to us transitioning back, we expect to hear from you at some stage. Otherwise, we'll come looking for you. Stanley on the wing, flicks it over the back to Tyson Stengel. Little bump from Goldstein as the kick goes up along the boundary line. Racing after it, it's gathered. Oisin Mullen, who's going to chip it wide of Manor, missed the intended target on the bounce for Guelphy. Got a hand pass away to Setterfield. Gets the hand pass away. Blackiston out of defence.
Kicks up to the wing. Wright's got a bit to do in the one-on-one with Henry. They both hit the deck, the Cats with the numbers. Lawson Humphries can scoop it up. Away from the Kimberley. Swings his kick wide to Guthrie. I mentioned earlier the 12 country Cats. It's a bit of a loose term. That is regional/rural Geelong players. So we're still calling Geelong, I'm not sure it's a country region, is it nowadays? It might be a bit controversial. As Smith goes with a long kick down to half forward. Off hands it spills through to Pryor. Oh, his hand pass back into dispute. Setterfield's got a bit to do. Gives it back to Pryor. Set upon. Dangerfield tackles him. Ball up. Centre half forward for Geelong. They're kicking to the punt road end in his second term, and already it's the Cats by 34. 6.5 gone, quarter number 2.
Geelong kicked 6 goals to 2 in the opening quarter. They've kicked the opening 2 goles of this second quarter. Stengel trying to break through 2 tackles. Got through. Hand passes wide of Dangerfield though in the left forward pocket. In front of he and Pryor. Rolls out of play. And the Olympic stand here at the MCG. A throw in with Geelong leading by 34 points. Saturday footy on ABC Sport. Cats with an average of 134 games experience. The Bombers with just 87 in the lineup this afternoon. Neil down to the front. Caldwell sharp at best. Hand pass to Johnson for the Bombers. Drives it up the wing in the direction of Peter Wright. He's got too many to compete with, and De Koning takes the mark. Switches into the middle of the ground, and Mark O'Connor has it.
Dempsey is all alone deep. The kick heads in that direction. Daywicks goes back to try and cover off, but Dempsey too good. Leaps up and marks. And this guy has a serious engine. Just runs goal square to goal square. What a year he's putting together after winning the Rising Star last year. And after thinking about passing it off, he points at the sticks and he runs out to the right looking for the extra distance. Man on the mark on the 50. Kicks top of the goal square. Goldstein's back, takes the intercept mark. Geelong by 34, 8 minutes into the second term. Saturday footy on ABC Sport. Corbin Middlemass and Matt Clinch. Ray Chamberlain on the boundary. Adam Ramanauskas and Luke Ball. There's Johnson and Roberts all share it, but they're still on the last line of defence, the Bombers, and down by 34 in the second term. Saturday footy on ABC Sport.
Roberts trying to find an avenue out of defence. Kicks long out towards Caddy, or in front. Setterfield takes the mark against Bailey Smith. May have gone to Bailey Smith, who's up to 14 disposals. Nick Martin with 13, 12 for Pryor and O'Connor. Setterfield back inside the defensive 50, all the way back to the defensive goal square for Laverty, who chips it out to McGrath. At right half back on the member side, he plays on. Looks to run away from Sean Manor. Kick up to Kako is superb. It hits him on his chest. He looks up and has Goldstein and Wright across half forward. Wants to come inboard to Gresham. It's a risky kick. He takes the mark. Just fingertips away from O'Connor. Gresham trying to get it out onto the wide side for Caddy. Worked underneath. O'Sullivan takes the mark.
It's a poor kick from Gresham. You expect a little bit more from a highly skilled player like that. Take his time. He had enough time to straighten up and kick on his right foot and had plenty of options for the ball. In the end, kicks to a one-on-one, but to the Geelong players' advantage.
To De Koning, and then the long kick downfield, an uncontested mark at halfback for Martin. He kicks laterally himself. Finds O'Connor. Gives it back to Martin, trying to get some run going. And now the switch. Not much depth in the kick, but he got it to Smith. Marks it right halfback. Hamstring tightness missed last week. He's back. He's had 30 plus in his last 5 appearances, Bailey Smith. Kicks to Dempsey, got there on the hop, hand pass to De Koning, kick smothered. 1%er from Caddy. Ball ricochets to Smith. Hand pass to Dempsey, but they're under pressure at halfback. Handball missed. Smith knocked on by the Cats. Now Smith a second go. Hand pass knocked down. Parrish then fumbles it out of play after breaking up the hand pass. And the boundary throw in on that southern wing. Cats by 34, 10 gone in the second. Saturday footy on ABC Sport. Talk about controversial topics. Aaron off the SMS. Is there any region other than Deniliquin, Finley, that's birthed better players than Hawkins, Barry, Crawford, etc.? Thanks, Aaron. Appreciate that. That is a controversial topic, isn't it? We talk about the richest footy areas.
Yeah.
Cats have kicked 7 of the last 8 goals of the match. Blitzhouse wins down the tap. Setterfield, tackled by Tom Atkins. Got a hand pass forward, but only as far as Guthrie, who gets it forward to Myers. He's pressured by Merrick, forces a turnover. Sliding in Gresham is on the bottom of the pack.
Trouble.
Martin's over the top. They all turn to the umpire, holding the ball. Free kick going Geelong's way, and Jack Martin is going to take it. Play across half back in his new role.
It's that area that Benny Cameron was here, he'd go to, down in WA. Paddy Cripps territory.
Yeah, Northampton.
That's the one.
Yep.
O'Sullivan takes the mark for Geelong, switches out to Mark O'Connor. The Irishman looks up, ignores Humphreys. As Blitzav's long down the line, Shannon Neal as well, and Dangerfield sends it in that direction. In front, Neal worked his way to the front. It bounces off the shoulder of Blitzav's. Out towards Blackiston. He's over the footy. Neal's over the top of him. Umpire circles and will ball it up. Ray Chamberlain on the boundary.
Yeah, Sam De Koning has just made his way to the interchange, nursing his left wrist. So the doctor's having a look at that right now.
I'll start naming them, but I'll miss a few, I'm sure. But Paddy and Jamie Cripps and Josh Kennedy, Paul Hazelby, all from that neck of the woods. And the restart, Essendon series of hand pass, one too many again. Geelong win it back. Dangerfield drives it deep. Dempsey leaps up, marks goals.
Oh, he's missed.
Oh, surely not. Oh, he's missed from 5 metres out. He played on and put it the wrong side of the post. And I was writing that in. Dempsey leaves one out there and he can't quite believe it.
Does he what? I tell you what, the wild breeze of sigh of relief too, because he let Ollie Dempsey 30 metres goal side at the stoppage.
He wasn't goal side.
Geelong by 35, a dozen minutes into the second term. Saturday footy on ABC Sport.
If there's one teaching point from this game for that young kid, it's that. You get goal side when the ball is in the opposition's front half.
Laverty up towards Caddy. It's balled away in the end by O'Sullivan. Down to Bailey Smith inside 50. Down low, Dangerfield was brought down. No whistle. And Archie Roberts gathers for the Bombers. Hand pass to Johnson. They're feeling out of the pump at the moment. Hand pass to McGrath against the boundary line. He kicks up towards right and Caddy. At the very back as well, there was a fair bit of pressure provided as well as Guelphy tries to get a hand pass forward. Bodies going every direction. O'Sullivan gathers. He's tackled. And the umpire will ball it up. It's big Archer May at the back who just decided to cannon his body through. At least try and bring the ball to ground. Geelong leading by 35 points.
Another one out of the Richmond VFL originally, and then this year moved to Perth to play for the Subiaco Lions. Archie May, now in the big time. Of course, Essendon have had a bit of success out of Richmond's VFL in recent years. Sammy Durham and Massimo D'Ambrosio both out of the mid-season draft from Richmond to change their colour sash and play for the Bombers. Parrish on the end of a sequence of handballs, kicks down the wing but turns it over. And Humphreys with the intercept mark, goes back to O'Connor. And now the switch is on for the Cats. They got a 35-point lead, 13 minutes into the quarter. Quarter number 2, Saturday footy, ABC Sport. Back to Stewart, long kick to Guthrie. And Guthrie down the southern wing, short to close. More of your country scores coming through on 0437 774 774. 10th annual country game. The Traralgon Tiger says the mighty Moe Lions 15-12 doing it easily over the Wampaggi Power. Oh, hang on. Turnover middle of the ground. Kako wins it back for the Bombers.
Feeds it to Guelphy. There's no one in the goal square, so he goes for glory. Matt Guelphy from 65 metres out. The shot is offline to the right, and it doesn't trickle through, although Tom Stewart might have, he thought, just encroached over the behind line. They might review that. It looked like it.
Yeah.
Kicks up towards O'Sullivan. Hang on. The field umpire's blowing his whistle. Might need you, Ray, here, because their Cats are transitioning, and eventually someone will tell the player with the ball to stop.
Yeah. Oh, if the umpire didn't tell them to stop, then Geelong go down and kick the goal, and then they can review the behind at the other end. This would want to have gone through.
It's a bit comical.
Davey Roden's our man on the spot down there. I think he had a pretty good view of it.
Yep. If we want to make it even more juvenile. Why don't they just tell everybody on the ground to stop in the position they're in?
Freeze.
Everyone freeze. Yes. Red light, green light, and all of a sudden it's a red light. And everyone just say,
well done. Good call, Jacob. Good call.
Wow.
Davey, you let me down.
And we got the right result.
So Ray Chamberlain on the boundary. This is where we can look like fools. Our position looked like it was well over the line, but of course they're all mic'd up to communicate amongst themselves.
Well, did David... Did the goal umpire call for that, Chamber?
Yeah, so what will happen is, obviously, it's in play, and David's obviously pushed. He's got to push the torque on his chest, and then he'll get the attention of the field umpire, and as soon as they get to the next stoppage, so that's a mark, free kick or ball out of bounds, they'll go back and review.
Cats on the kick out, quickly working up the wing, and Max Holmes in a bit of space where he loves to be. Takes a bounce, kicks it to half forward, turns it over. And Laverty with the intercept mark. Just before that error back inboard, I was telling you about the Moe Lions who are on top against the Wonthaggi Power. You'll be pleased to know, Ram.
Yes.
Up with that score. There's Clark. He's a good country boy. Goes wide to right. Pokes the kick in front of the benches, and Caldwell marks just. Of course, Angus Clark from Tantanoola, which is out near East Gambia. Property out there, and farming stock, farm strong, as Andy McGrath told us. Kicks down the wing. Caldwell, not marked by Henry, spills the way of Humphreys, who pokes it down the boundary line, and a good grab. O'Sullivan up in front of Setterfield, marks right in front of the interchange gates for Geelong. They lead it by 34 points, 16 minutes into the second term.
O'Sullivan, whose confidence is growing, inside 50, looking for Neil. It clears him. Stengel onto it. Here's Angus Clark trying to knock it out. Got it to Pryor. Down low to Xavier Dersma, who gets the hand pass away to Nick Munn. They're out of defence now. Setterfield kicks up the wing, and here's Archer May on debut. He takes the mark at right half back. He looks long and has Nate Caddy in a 2-on-1. It's tough for him as Stewart comes in from the side, provides the support to Jack Martin and spoils it out of play. So Archer May, the 20-year-old, 198 centimetres. His mother has been in a long-term relationship with Dermot Burden, who was down in the rooms.
Yeah, good on Derm for getting down to the Essendon rooms.
Wouldn't wear a
long
scarf,
time
though.
coming.
Wouldn't wear a scarf.
Didn't burst into flames or anything walking in there.
I thought he might have worn his Hawthorn scarf.
Derm was certainly arch enemy number one there for a number of years at Essendon.
Put from the boundary throwing, Stanley knocks it forward, and Manor had it tackled out of play by Dersma, and will have a boundary throwing on the wing. Of course, it's not the first time Derm's been in an Essendon huddle.
Correct.
Which once famously in the past, of course. Charging through the Bombers' address at a quarter break. Ask your dad or granddad about it. Kids out there listening to us don't remember that back in those days. We'll have a boundary from the boundary throwing a ball up immediately as Merritt's tackled. Up it goes. Broadcast side. Cats in control, going nowhere fast, and Dersma's tackled by Manor. So 34-point lead for Geelong, 17 minutes into the second term.
Stabilised the game a bit, the Bombers, haven't they? Look like it was real danger signs there for a while there, the Cats. But they've just shut the game down a little bit. Turned it into a bit more of a stoppage affair, which is good play.
7 of the last 8 goals away of Geelong as Setterfield gets it from Dersma, kicks a high up and under ball under the wing. Myers spiles it away against Pryor, who slipped over. Down to Merritt, he's tackled by Holmes, loses it. Geelong take the free kick. Stanley's hand pass forward to Bailey Smith. Hand pass to Close. Wanted to give it back to Smith. He does now. He draws an opponent in Blackiston, and hand pass to Myers. Left half forward. Centering ball. Looking for Humphreys. He left it for Cameron. Couldn't take the mark. Lual comes crashing through. His hand pass looking for Martin. It's straight out towards Dempsey though. Little toe post clever. Out to Jeremy Cameron. He's everywhere. Kicks towards goal. And Pryor drops the mark but does just carry it over the line for a behind. It was a little more risky than it needed to be. Geelong by 34 points.
Nice goal-saving effort from Pryor. Short kick to Laverty. He goes back to Roberts. Second favourite for the Rising Star, by the way, if you keep up with such things, Archie Roberts. Having a fine year, the left footer in his second season. Goes long up the wing. 3 Bombers fly. Spills down to Atkins for the Cats. Gives it to Smith. Kicks inside 50. Manor can't squeeze it. Ball spits out. Bombers win it. Setterfield to Merritt. Mowed down by Close. Holding the ball. Big chase down tackle from Brad Close, and that is his go.
It is. It's a great tackle. But just the handball from Will Setterfield went to the ground, didn't it? Went to dirt. He should have released Merritt. He would have been away. He had to stop, turn around, go back and get it. And in that time, Brad Close had time to do what he does best and close down and affect the tackle.
It's credit to Geelong. They're owning that sort of 5-metre radius around the contest. So it's forcing Essendon into these little short handballs.
Close. Arcs out to the right. Drives it all the way home. More pain for the Bombers as the Cats continue to pile on the goals. 41 points, Geelong's lead, 20-minute mark of the second term, 9-5 to 2-6. Earlier today it was GWS by 11 points over the Brisbane Lions. This is Saturday footy on ABC Sport with Rama and Bawley.
So inside 50s now 11 to 5 this quarter, but the concern for Essendon is only 8 tackles in this quarter, whereas Geelong are late the 11. That's been the best one there with Brad Close running down Zach Merritt, who you rarely see that happen to, but there's a lot of these short little dinky handballs by Essendon going nowhere. Not actually releasing a teammate into space where he can go and take some grass in front of him, then take some territory. So credit to Geelong, though. Their pressure, I think, has been enormous from moment one in this game.
Adam Romanascus with you on ABC Sport. Cats out by 41 points. Having booted 3 goals, 2-2 behind so far in this second quarter. They're led by 23 points, so 6 of the last 7 goals of the match going Geelong's way. Back in the middle of the ground, Stanley got it down to Atkins, back to Stanley. Myers, home zone, in fact it was, beautiful little sidestep, hand pass forward, got it to O'Shea Mullins and now to Myers, who kicks inside 50 in the direction of Dangerfield, can't take the mark against Laverty. Front and centre is McGrath, flicks out a hand pass, trying to find an avenue out of defence is Daywick. He kicks up towards half back, nothing but Geelong jumpers there. Martin looked to Holmes, your ball to gather. Jack Martin can't do so as Guelphy came in. It was off the back leg of Jack Martin and out on the full. Essendon will get a kick.
Terrific by Matt Guelphy. He's actually having a real go, Matt Guelphy, in this game.
Always does, doesn't he?
Yep.
Zach Merritt sends it down the wing for the Bombers. In fact, no, it wasn't. It was Guelphy got the free kick, sorry. Merritt tried to claim it originally, and Guelphy, as I was not looking at the kicker, ended up being the appropriate recipient. The Bombers work it hurriedly across the ground as Parrish's kick goes wide, and a free kick for the Dons as Dersma had his arm held by his opposite number, Dempsey. Dersma told to move it, 60 out, kicks it deep for Goldstein, getting across to cover off his Henry. He does that so well, knocks it out of bounds and a boundary throw in.
Yeah, but you look, you've got Nate Caddy, who didn't provide a lead there. You've got Archer May that didn't provide a lead there. It was Todd Goldstein that provided the lead for Dersma. So those forwards have just got to, key forwards, just got to work harder.
41 points, Geelong's lead, 22 gone in the second term. Saturday footy on ABC Sport. Oh, Stanley palms it down, but straight to Merritt. Jams it on the boot and across the goal face. It goes almost a mark. Is it going to be paid? No. No, not quite. It was broken up by Henry. Had a fair piece of it. And the ball spills out of bounds, left forward pocket for the Dons. What do you reckon, Bawley?
Good decision in the end. Good decision. Jack Henry just got his hand in.
Bombers have it inside 50. Stanley wins down the tap to Atkins. Just kept his footing as Merritt offered chase. Releases Holmes. He's off on a dash. Kicks up towards the wing. Down low, genuflecting. Stengel takes the mark. Back to Holmes. He bursts away. No one can catch the speedy cat. Gets to 48. In fact, they can. Not giving up with Setterfield. He got him at the last moment. And the kick dribbles inside 50. And Daywicks is tackled by Close. Couldn't get the words back. Someone could catch him.
Did we see? We saw was it Dan Curtin or Josh Worrell last night, the rundown tackle of the year. That was almost it. For a player who, if you line up Holmes and Setterfield next to each other with the 100-metre line, you know who's going to win that. That's just effort. That's just desire from Will Setterfield.
Right from the stoppage up to right. Hand pass to Setterfield. Ball in hand now. Kicks wide to Guelphy. Takes the mark in front of the benches. Ray Chamberlain.
Holmes gut running. Great chase from Setterfield. I reckon Holmes a bit stiff not to get a free kick there.
Oh, come on, Ray. I don't think there was a trip in that one.
Short goes back to Setterfield. Setterfield to Parrish. Kicks to centre half forward, and here's May.
Go back.
Archie May on debut. Marks. Man on the mark right on the 50.
Come on, Das. Where's the leader? Tell him to go back, take his time and have a shot. He's certainly got the journey. We've seen him kick it a long way. He kicked from about 54. Look at those legs. He's a brute of a kid, isn't he?
He's going to be a big boy. He's 19 years old, and he's already got the biceps and the quads going. So
he's one of 10 debutants this year for the Bombers. 4 of them have kicked a goal with their first kick in AFL footy. This is his second kick, and it wobbles its way to the goal line, just touched. And Jack Henry again leaping up on the line, spoiling the Bombers' plans. Knocks it through for a minor score, so 9-5 to 2-7. 40-point lead for the Cats, 25 gone in the second term.
It was a good effort in the end. Tom Stewart brings Geelong back into play, sets it out towards O'Sullivan. He's wrestling with May, who worked his way to the front but couldn't complete the mark. It bounces off O'Shea Mullen and goes out for a boundary throw-in. The Bombers have 10 players who have played under 10 games, 2 who are making their debut this afternoon. So one of the structures of Brad Scott would spend so much of the pre-season working on all of a sudden go out the window.
Yep, absolutely. It's about education now with all these younger players. You take out Todd Goldstein from those average games numbers, it's a lot lower than 87.
Goldie up to 337 as Merritt inside 50 to Guelphy. Pulled his kick beautifully at the last moment. The Bombers captain still desperately trying to wrestle this margin back. It's currently 40 points Geelong's way. Matt Guelphy is one of their 2 goal kickers with a chance to try and add a second.
What's the margin at the moment? It's 40 points. And Essendon have had 8 more disposals than Geelong in this game.
Just been able to get a little bit of separation the last 5 minutes, Zach Merritt. And you want him with his hands on the footy, kicking inside 50. Love Guelphy's quarter.
Back in the Bombers lineup since round 11, looking to try and make his moments count. Matt Guelphy comes in. He's celebrating before it goes through. Guelphy with his second. A much-needed goal for the Bombers, their first of this second quarter. And their first since he goaled at the 18-minute mark of the opening term. We'll have to brief me on the celebration, Corby. 9-5-59 the Cats to the Bombers 3-7-25.
Yeah, I love Guelphy's quarter. So they've kicked 1 goal, 3 for the quarter, Essendon. He's been involved in all 4 scoring shots. And then gets his reward there and kicks the goal. Brave, courageous, like he always is. We know what he brings to this team. That time, it was Zach Merritt, who is working hard, trying to break free of the Mullen tag. What's he up to now? He's at 6 for the quarter, Merritt, so slowly getting his hands on the footy. Just needed that, the Bombers, didn't they? I feel like they've worked pretty hard this quarter at times. It's just been Geelong on the turnover again. 3 goals 2 to 1 goal 3 for the quarter.
Crooked bounce back in the middle. It's almost like a W, then an M, and then a W again. I don't know if it stands for something.
That's the cool kids.
It's gone over my head, that one. I don't know if that's
I'm past the cool kids stage, unfortunately.
34 points is Geelong's lead. 27 minutes into this second term. Saturday footy on ABC Sport. Goldstein palms it down. Smith tackled, dispossessed. Caldwell wins it, got it to Goldstein. His hand pass knocked down. Holmes picks it up. He's off and running. Couple of bounces. Kicks from the logo. Down to half forward for Geelong. Close in front of Johnson. Takes the mark. Dishes it off to Dempsey. The smooth mover. Kicks in the pocket. Cameron the target. Punched away from him. Ball never went out. Or did it? It did. Boundary throw in forward pocket for the Cats. Hi guys, Inverloch beat. Is it Cooey Rupp?
Yep. Cooey Rupp. Yep.
There we go. Thanks, Ron from Inverloch. So well done to Inverloch. They had a win today.
I like the 4th message there. Hello from Castlemaine.
Okay.
The joy is going to be Corby's pronunciation of all these places throughout the afternoon.
Real city slicker.
Goldstein trying to get it down to Dursma in the back pocket. Hand pass to Caldwell. Had to get it forward to Clark. Under pressure to Pryor. They've worked this well. Now to Roberts. They get out of defence. A kick end over end up towards Caddy. Gets the hand pass to Guelphy. He tries to toe poke a ball out towards Nick Martin. He's hemmed in against the boundary line. Hand pass over Merritt's head to Caddy. Hand pass to Merritt. This has created something. At left half forward. Hand pass inboard to Guelphy. Missed him. And Holmes lays the bump and wins it back for Geelong. Hand pass to Bailey Smith. Through the middle of the ground for Blitzavs. He jams a high kick up towards Stengel. Caught behind. It's brought down in the end by Setterfield. Gets the hand pass wide of Martin. Missed him. Bumped off it by Close. Merritt goes in down low. Hand pass towards Blackerson. Tries to slap it on. Zach Guthrie gathers. He's tackled in the middle of the MCG. And the umpire will ball it up. It almost was the Bombers version of the Harlem Globetrotters, but just came undone at half forward.
For the ball up, Goldstein down to Merritt, to Roberts. Hand pass to Setterfield, trying to get a kick away. Holmes had him, then let him go as Setterfield regathers the footy, kicks it forward but turns it over. Stewart, hand pass away to Guthrie, pokes the kick out in front of Martin, who waits and decides to shepherd. Picks off Lamont Llewell and left the footy for Humphreys. Geelong work it out. Down to a one-on-one. Dangerfield and Pryor just pushes him aside. Dangerfield grabs the footy, drives it goalward, but he's offline. And it bounces through for a behind. It is Dangerfield's only score. As Pryor caught in a one-on-one there, and that's not where you want to be. Now it's half-time. Geelong by 35 points. So Geelong by 35. 9-6-60 plays Essendon 3-7-25. The goal kickers to half-time. Jeremy Cameron has 4. He's kicked 2 in each quarter. 2 goals for Manor and for Neil, and 1 to Brad Close. Meanwhile, for the Bombers, Matt Guelphy's got a couple, and Jade Gresham has the other. Half-time at the MCG, the floodlights have taken over as the night sky set in early here, 5:25 local time. Now the second of 3 games today, Saturday footy in round 14. Still to come tonight, it is North Melbourne and Fremantle from Perth Stadium. It is the Kangaroos' home game. So the Kangaroos with a home fixture, second leg of their WA two-step. And earlier today, it was GWS defeated the Brisbane Lions 17-5 to 13-8. What turned out to be a pretty dirty day for the reigning premiers. They lose another game at home, one in which they had more scoring shots, and they also lost their premiership fullback, Jack Payne, who's hurt his patella tendon, and that's ordinarily not a good injury, so some more pain there for the Lions. Ahead of Rama and Bawley, a bit off the SMS, 0437 774 774. Country game, so country scores is what we're after. Mount Pleasant beat Oatlands by 109 points on a cold day in the Midlands of Tassie. From Fenn. I was there this morning. That would be pretty cold. I imagine out there today. Report from the Goulburn Valley Footy League. Undefeated Kyabram beat Shep Swans, where Josh Rochelli's brother and cousin and my grandson, Enrique Goggin, play. Thank you very much. Nice to hear from that. So well done. Nice to hear from you. So well done to Kai.
So the other country town in this next message is Bendigo, Corbs. Just if you can't get the pronunciation right.
The one that you guys do here in Victoria, which I'm not sure the rest of the country's on board with, is Castlemaine.
Yes.
It's Castlemaine, surely. But the under-12 Bees had a win there. 7-3-45. They beat North Bendigo 3-4-22. So 23-point win. You might think, well, that's not out of the ordinary. Good win for Castlemaine's under-12s. But it was so foggy that kids were running into each other, and there was mud head to toe from Barry and Harcourt. That's great, isn't it? I do love that. Hi, Corby, you missed one of Geelong's greatest. Harry Taylor is another one from Northampton.
Yeah, there you go.
And you'd miss a couple. Thanks, Rob. Appreciate that. Reckon Ballarat can lay claim to being a rich source of players. Lockett, Goods, Petrie, Malthouse, Frawley, Tunbridge, Muir, Beams. That's only scratching the surface from Pete. Appreciate that, Pete. What a rich footy area. That's what we're here for today, to celebrate the contributions from all the country people to the great game of Australian rules footy, the 10th annual country game. At halftime, Luke Ball and Adam Ramanauskas. It is Geelong by 35 points, and this is Saturday footy on ABC Sport. And what have you made of it?
Well, Geelong are dominating Essendon, particularly through the midfield metres gained. Max Holmes, 457 metres gained. Bailey Smith, 459. Essendon then, if you look who their metres game players are, Jackson Pryor, 267, and then Zach Johnson, 261. So back half players. So we just that quarter, you're watching Bailey Smith get the ball, you're watching Max Holmes get the ball through the middle of the ground and then taking the grass in front. It's not sideways handballs, not sideways kicks. It's let's go. Let's get the ball moving forward. Let's give our forwards a chance. It was looking horrible early in that quarter for Essendon. 2 goals in the first 5 minutes for the Cats there, and you thought, this is going to get really ugly really quickly here. But I agree with Bally. Essendon they took a little bit of the heat, a little bit of the gas out of the game, and a little bit of oxygen, and just slowed things down. So I think the key for Essendon in this second half is particularly around handball. One, they still have more handballs than kicks, which is a disaster against Geelong, because you then watch Tom Stewart sit back behind the ball, Jack Henry sit back behind the ball, Zach Guthrie sit back behind the ball. So finally when Essendon get the ball out and are able to kick it, they kick it straight back to Geelong, and off they go around the other side of the ground, and they generally score. So I want to see Essendon handball with more length with more length in this second half to get their runners going. You know, Nick Martin, Zach Merritt, Jai Caldwell, those guys get, you know, they're just playing in a phone booth at the moment where they just can't get any space and time to really execute disposal. The other part where Geelong, I spoke about metres gained where they're dominating, but they're controlling tempo as well. 74 marks to 48 in Essendon's favour. So they've really had a great half of football. A lot of times when the good teams come up against the poorer team, as one of our text messages said, they can sort of take the foot off the gas a little bit, Court, but
those numbers tell you the story, though, don't they? For the Bombers to have more disposals and yet so few marks in comparison to Geelong.
15 more disposals Essendon had.
That when they're getting the ball, it's in motion. And
they're in front contest and clearance. They're having a go in tight, as you said. They're having a go, and I thought Setterfield was superb that quarter. He was terrific, just in terms of his fight. You know, none more. So I mean, that'll be shown. That'll be shown. It should be anyway at the club on replay. His ability just to put his head down and chase Max. He chased him 100 metres from one to the square to the other. It was unbelievable.
Lucky Ray wasn't still umpiring. He would have pinged him for a trip.
Yeah, would have no sense of theatre. But I thought he was great. Merritt started to get going a bit. Caldwell always tries pretty hard. So you couldn't question their effort around the ball. The challenge becomes, as you said, Rammer, when it gets out into open space, and Geelong's ability to keep the footy off them, to control the footy. 74 marks for the half. So, you know, that's on track for a big day, and then they're just light on at both ends of the ground. We know that. So what can they do? What levers can they pull in terms of their inside 50s? I think the good old chaos ball probably is the go today, isn't it? I think the long bombs probably aren't going to work with what's with their personnel forward of the ball from the Bombers. At times they've looked dangerous. It's been when they've lowered their eyes and changed the angles a bit. And then when, you know, the quick chaos balls come into even numbers and they've just been able to fight and scrap a goal. Think about Guelphy and Gresham down the other end. And Gresham, in a sense, you know, could have taken a few more chances as well. But yeah, got to try and somehow, you know, keep the ball in tight, the Bombers, and just use their numbers around the footy, as you said, because when it gets out into space, it's when the Cats look really dangerous. And, you know, I think the key forwards, you know, Cameron's really looked like he's primed for a big bag, hasn't he? But through that middle part of that quarter, they fought on pretty well, the Essendon defenders, and just hung in there. And what are they? It's only 5 goals, you know, 5.5, 6 goals. So, you know, we spoke before the game that the gap in experience and talent is there for all to see. So you're just looking for effort. If you come along as a Bomber supporter and the coaching staff, you're just looking for effort, which they can build on, which I thought they showed last week. You know, and they nearly pinched it against the Blues.
Shout out to Benny Cameron. He's not here, but he's delivered me a birthday cake, even though he's not even here. What a guy. So we'll be able to get into that during halftime. So thank you to Ben for that. Can confirm Brett Delidio playing for Collie Amberley lasted 15 minutes, pinged a quad. So unfortunately,
did he get in touch with you?
He did. Short day for Lids. So unfortunately, quad's no good.
Well, he lasted longer than Bucks.
Now, Luke Ball's high-profile cousin made a return to footy today. We'll tell you about that after the news. So stick around for that. A little update on Ball's cousin. I'm sure you've heard of him. There's no doubt about that. It is Saturday footy on ABC Sport. All of that still to come. Geelong by 35. But for now, let's get the latest from the ABC newsroom.
ABC News with David Rowlands. Media in Israel are reporting that 3 people have died as Iranian reprisals continue following the Israeli air assault on Iran's nuclear facilities, killing key military officers and scientists. More from the BBC's Hugo Bashega in Jerusalem.
Sirens sounded again in Israel before dawn as Iran launched another wave of missiles. Loud explosions were heard here in Jerusalem as air defense systems were activated. This followed a long night of attacks in which millions across the country were told to seek shelter. In Iran, state media says there have been more explosions as Israel continues with its attacks for a second day. Speaking on television, the country's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, vowed to bring Israel to ruin.
The federal opposition is urging caution as attacks between Israel and Iran escalate, but it says Israel has a right to defend itself. In a statement, Liberal leader Susan Lee says Iran's ability to acquire nuclear weapons poses a serious threat to world peace and stability. She says Israel is exercising its sovereign right to defend its people and ensure security for future generations. Earlier today, Deputy Prime Minister Richard Marles said Australia is deeply concerned about rising tensions and urged parties to use dialogue and diplomacy. The federal opposition says Prime Minister Anthony Albanese should do whatever it takes to meet face-to-face with US President Donald Trump as soon as possible. Mr Albanese is on his way to the G7 summit in Canada, where it's been widely speculated he'll meet with President Trump, although it's not been confirmed as yet. After the US this week announced it's reviewing the AUKUS Security Pact, Shadow Defence Minister Angus Taylor says it should be a top priority for the Prime Minister to immediately secure a meeting with Trump.
He should do whatever is necessary to get a meeting with the President at this time. It's enormously important. We need to see the alliance strengthened, not weakened. And central to that is personal relationships. And so it's crucial that the Prime Minister meet with the President.
An Indian hospital official says at least 270 bodies have now been recovered from the site where a London-bound passenger plane crashed into a medical college hostel in the western Indian city of Ahmedabad. The Air India Boeing 787 with 242 people on board began losing height moments after takeoff, then erupted in a fireball as it struck buildings. There was one survivor from on board the plane and he's being treated in hospital for multiple injuries. The Victorian State Government says it hopes to resolve a pay dispute with public hospital mental health nurses and social workers as soon as possible, ahead of a strike scheduled for next week. The Health and Community Services Union says about 400 mental health workers from public services across Victoria will strike between 10am and 4pm on Tuesday. The government says it backs the dedicated mental health workforce and the care they provide to Victorians who need it the most. Thai and Cambodian officials have met to try to ease tensions amid fears of military clashes after a long-running territorial dispute reignited and both countries mobilised troops on the border. The Thai Prime Minister has posted online that Thailand hopes to use the platform to resolve the situation peacefully. The two neighbours share an 800-kilometre land border, parts of which are undemarcated and include ancient temples they've contested for decades. The latest standoff follows a skirmish late last month in which a Cambodian soldier died, and despite both sides pledging dialogue, Thailand has previously threatened to close the border and cut off electricity supplies to its neighbour. The Queensland Government has defended its venue plan for the 2032 Olympic Games after Prime Minister Anthony Albanese suggested some events could be hosted interstate. Speaking on a sports podcast this week, Mr Albanese offered up Penrith and Melbourne as suitable places to hold the Olympic rowing and tennis. Senior Government Minister Sam O'Connor in Queensland says those changes are out of the question.
Our events are as they are laid out in the delivery plan, and they are happening in Queensland. And we're very proud to have delivered that plan, and we're very proud to have worked with communities across the state to put it together to make sure our entire state benefits from the 2032 Games. And we're working hard to deliver it now with all levels of government.
Under the state government's plan, rowing will be held in Rockhampton and tennis in Brisbane. And in round 14 of the AFL, Greater Western Sydney has fought back from a 21-point deficit to beat Brisbane by 11 points at the Gabba. The final scoreline was 17-5-107 to 13-18-96. Jesse Hogan kicked 6 goals for the Giants, while teammate Aaron Cadman had 5. This is ABC News.
As each day begins,
get the facts you need to stay informed.
Every day, across your day.
Stay with Australia's trusted news source.
All the latest, all verified. Stay in the know with ABC News.
On ABC TV and ABC iView.
The ABC Listen app has it all. The British and Irish Lions Tour of Australia, Wimbledon, the World Test Championship, and West Indies versus Australia. Oh, and did I mention we're doing the footy every weekend? ABC Sport on the ABC Listen app. This is the 2025 AFL Premiership season on ABC Sport.
Bailey Smith looks up the wing, up towards half forward. Neil caught behind, just nudged Blackiston underneath it. Takes the mark, trying to get it forward to Cameron. On the bounce to Dangerfield. Half pass to Jeremy Cameron. Swings onto his left. Beautiful. Jezza has his third.
Smith caught in a tangle and he just dragged down Blackiston, and as a result, free kick for the Bombers. They've coughed it up anyway. Martin's kick didn't quite get to Roberts. Holmes inside 50. Dangerfield pulls it down. Man free in the goal square. It's Cameron. He's got it. He marks a metre out from the goal line. I hope you're on the overs. He's got 4. Jeremy Cameron, 4 and counting. Ball spits out. Bombers win it. Setterfield to Merritt. Mowed down by Close. Holding the ball. Close. Arcs out to the right, drives it all the way home. More pain for the Bombers.
Merritt inside 50 to Guelphy. Pulled his kick beautifully in the last moment. The Bombers captain still desperately trying to wrestle this margin back, looking to try and make his moments count. Matt Guelphy comes in. He's celebrating before it goes through. Guelphy with his second.
This is ABC Sports coverage of the AFL.
On your radio.
ABC Sport Digital.
And on the ABC Listen app.
Game 2 on the Saturday slate at round 14. Great to have you with us wherever you're listening across the country. At halftime, Geelong lead the Bombers by 35 points. So it's been all Geelong here. And as a result, it is, 9-6 to 3-7 at halftime as it currently stands. The second leg of 3 games on this Saturday. Earlier today, a huge win for GWS. 17-5. They beat Brisbane 13-18. That means 22 scoring shots beat 31 scoring shots. So they had 9 fewer looks at it, and yet GWS prevailing by 11 points. And what turned out to be a pretty dirty day for Brisbane. They left another game out there in a winnable position. Had a 3-quarter time advantage against North, couldn't convert. They led Melbourne by more than a couple of goals at 3-quarter time at home, lost that game. Last week, they kicked themselves out of it, sprayed them everywhere with 8 behinds, 2 on the full and 1 into the man on the mark in that last quarter against the Crows. And then here, despite having far more scoring shots, they lose. And just to make matters worse, they lost Jack Payne on the run to a patella tendon injury. Half-time here at the Melbourne Cricket Ground. It is a 35-point lead for Geelong. Corbin Middlemass alongside Matt Clench, Ray Chamberlain on the boundary, Luke Ball and Adam Ramanauskas, your call team. I teased it, Ballies. We call on the radio game. A little tease to keep people listening on the other side of the news about the return of your high-profile cousin. A lot of people might not even be aware of your family relation.
Probably not, yeah.
But the great Josh Kennedy.
Yeah, Josh P. Kennedy, the Sydney Swans, great. And it was all over the socials, so they publicised it. When probably got a few more people through the turnstiles today. He went down to Derrybell Oval, Clinchy.
Yeah.
And played against D-Lar, which is a bit of synergy. So he's very, very Hall of Fame legend, great-grandfather. Sorry, grandfather, not great-grandfather, John Senior, went to D-Lar.
He did.
As did John Junior. So a little bit of synergy there, and Josh made his debut for the Old Zavs and had a good win, and he got through unscathed.
That's all you want, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah. I mean, to be honest, I can't. He's 37, and you know what a career and a lot of miles on the clock, but just shows that little bit of flame was still flickering there, competitive flame, and there's never going to be an issue with Josh presenting himself in fine condition. He's a magnificent specimen, and he looked good out there, and
that's
slowly worked into the game.
It's a high level of footy just to go back and play.
Yeah, great.
Pick it up on a Saturday.
Yeah, really good. So great for the club, and great for some young players down there. I mean, what an absolute coup! How exciting for them to be able to run out with an all-time great.
We have a little AFL Nines over the summer months. Brett Lidio has played. We managed to pinch Josh Kennedy. Played a few games for the D-Lar over 35s. We did remind him that there was a spot available to play in the seniors, and he said, I'll be going back to my school to feature there. And what a great fella he is, and still, as you said, looked in ripping nick. So the Kabaddi into back playing amateur.
That might have been it. That might have been the catalyst, the Kabaddi, I reckon. It just sort of... Well, I play the odd game of Wednesday night basketball with him still, and you can still see the competitiveness come out of him there. And I try and sort of go up for a rebound with him, and you just realise he's a monster. He's massive. So I'll get the hell out of there and let him do that. But I think from all reports, got through unscathed because he finished up with a couple of bad hammies as well. So fantastic to see.
Just on a few other sports that are taking place, the NRL obviously continues. Origin 2 is on Wednesday night in Perth. You'll be able to hear that on ABC Radio and Sport Digital right across the country. NRL on right now, 10 minutes in, the Newcastle Knights lead the Roosters 6-0, so that's the score currently. There's a golf major from Oakmont, and at the moment Sam Burns leads the way at 3 under for the tournament. Adam Scott is even par, and that's good enough to be tied for 4th, so it's an absolute brute of a course. That's after the second round of the US Open. And of course the cricket. Australia, after being in a winning position at stumps the night previous at the end of day 1, all of a sudden found themselves all out. They set a victory target of 282 to win, and South Africa are less than 70 runs away, just 2 down. An injured Temba Bavuma in a critical, potentially match-winning partnership with Aidan Markram, who turned up what a performance by the Proteas, and now they're in the driver's seat.
They are. They're tough, aren't they? I think it's 3 or 4 times now they've chased down over 250 against Australia in the 4th innings, and that famous one at Perth, wasn't it? Over 400.
Yeah.
Graham Smith and AB de Villiers and Faf du Plessis. So it'd be a good effort if they get there. They'll very much have deserved their title.
We spoke when we left the footy on Thursday night. We'd be listening on our way home while Marnus was batting. It turns out he wasn't batting all that long, but would this be one of the biggest moments in South African cricket history if they could win? When you think about all their nightmares they've had in World Cups against Australia.
Never won sort of a major ICC trophy. They've got like a Champions Trophy win sort of way back when, but 5 times a semi-finalist at the 50-over World Cup. Finally made a final of the T20 version, lost from a winnable position against India, and so if they can win the trophy here, I'm with you, Clinch. It's just about as good as it gets for South African cricket. You can hear it all tonight, of course, through the ABC Listen app. Look out for that red cricket ball button. Second half underway here, Cats by 35.
Todd Goldstein wins down the opening tap against Reece Stanley. Got it though to Bailey Smith, who squeezed the kick up towards half forward. Clark comes racing off the back of the square. Can't take it for the Bombers. Does get it back though from Dersma. He's tackled immediately in a manner, and the umpire will ball it up. What do you imagine the message would be from Brad Scott at half-time, Rammer?
I think more about composure. Composure with the ball and decision-making. You know, Paulie and I have been harping on about that since the first quarter, so getting some reward.
Caldwell to centre field to Merritt. Hand pass forward to Kako. Back to Merritt, the captain. Inside 50. Lace out to Peter Wright.
There's no better example. So off a stoppage from a half-back flank, they're able to use width with the handball to create some separation from their direct opponent. Then it goes inside forward 50 because Zach Merritt has a bit of space and a bit of time to kick the ball.
6 disposals, 3 marks, 1 behind so far for Peter Wright. And in the absence of so many players in their back half, they need someone to try and provide a spark in their forward half. Peter Wright, can he start the second half on a positive note? He lights it off the boot. And the Bombers get the opening goal inside 90 seconds. Peter Wright's first of the afternoon. Geelong's lead cut immediately back to 29 points. That's a good result given Essendon managed just the 1 goal in that second quarter. 9-6-60 Geelong to the Bombers 4-7-31. Saturday footy on ABC Sport. Here's Adam Ramanauskas and Luke Ball.
Yeah, it was a nice chain of handballs, wasn't it, from the stoppage. Archie Roberts, who, as you said, Corby's having a really good year. He's been involved. He's had his hands full. He's going to know he's had a game today, playing on Brian Myers and Tyson Stengel at times, but nice release there off half-back and a beautiful kick and a key forward coming at the kicker runner. I mean, if you've got Zach Merritt streaming out of a stoppage, surely you lead, just an easy one to tick back at them, and beautiful kick found him on his chest. So perfect start in the second half for the Bombers.
And Geelong allow that because they love laying off and sitting off their direct opponent.
It's happened either side of half-time, but first time today the Bombers with back-to-back goals. Caldwell coughs it up. Holmes kicks it forward for Geelong, but picked off by Roberts. He gives it to the skipper, Merritt. Turns, kicks to centre-half forward. 1 bounce, reaches O'Connor. Back in Geelong hands. Handball away to Smith. That is a flower bag. Bouncing down to half-forward. Unkind bounce for Blackiston. It lands favourably for the Cats. Dangerfield gives it to Holmes, and the hard-running midfielder rewarded as he marks uncontested inside 50 for the Cats.
Well, the ball turns over at centre-half forward for Essendon. And you're looking for the Essendon mids to go and locate their direct opponent. Mm-hmm. And they simply don't. That's why Max Holmes there is able to trot inside forward 50 unopposed and take an uncontested mark.
And his 50th consecutive game now. Max Holmes, the drop punt, right to the line and carries it. A goal for Holmes. And Geelong get it straight back to start the second half. And they restore a 35-point buffer as it was at the half. 10-6 to 4-7. 3 minutes into the third term. This is Saturday footy on ABC Sport.
Yeah, familiar tale, wasn't it? And it was the skipper that time who laced one out to Peter Wright to set up the first goal. And that time he was just indecisive, wasn't he? And in the end, just kicked it to no one. Kicked it to space, and Geelong players were able to peel off. And then you're right. The ability to be able to snap into defence when the turnover happens at half-back. I'm not sure. We need the behind the goals footage there. Who was on Max Holmes, and he just snuck forward in metres of space. Same faces involved. Bailey Smith, what's he up to now? 26 possessions.
Yep.
And Max Holmes up to 19 himself.
7 inside 50s for Bailey Smith. Geelong lead by 35 points once more. Goldstein takes out of the ruck. His hand pass though straight to Bailey Smith. Kicks up towards half forward. Close was caught behind. Roberts can't take the mark. Merritt tangles in there, lays the tackle. And Sean Manor and the umpire will ball it up. Still inside the centre square. Just short of half forward for the Cats. They lead by 35 points, a goal apiece through the opening 4 minutes of this third quarter. Saturday footy on ABC Sport. Merritt surely held when not in possession. Umpire spots it. He'll get a free kick across half back. Zach Merritt, a couple of weeks ago, spent the majority of the game, 90% of game time in defence. Switches out to right half back, and Angus Clark takes the mark. He's been swung from forward into defence, has played the loose role at various stages today. Chips it over the top to Andy McGrath. Feeds the hand pass back to Clark. Tries to poke a kick over the top. Get aware the contact was Dersma. This might be 50 against Shannon Neal. It is. And a few of the Bombers coming to remonstrate. Clark and McGrath. And it will take Xavier Dersma to within scoring distance.
What gave that away, it wasn't a swinging arm. It was more a forearm force from Shannon Neal. Yeah. So the umpires saw that. Usually if you can swing an arm, you can sort of make out like you're going for the ball. But, yeah, I think Shannon Neal wanted to... oh, yeah, that hurts, those ones.
Here's his physicality, and that would have got him right in the ribs. So Dersma will now have a shot on goal. He's about 40 metres out, directly in front. A chance for the Bombers to make it 2 of the first 3 of the second half as Dersma comes in. X marks the spot. The bow and arrow returns. And the Bombers have some spirit in this third quarter. Geelong's lead cut back to 29 points, 10-6-66 to the Bombers, 5-7-37. Some ill-discipline from Shannon Neal there.
Yeah, it was, and no doubt Chris Scott will be disappointed with that because he didn't need to do it. So Dersma was always going to mark that ball in the middle of the ground, but you know the big guys sometimes do want to assert their physicality on the game against the littler blokes. But yeah, that you can see that one really hurt Dersma. But I like Angus Clark coming in there. An 18-year-old kid coming to remonstrate against a bigger guy, flying the flag. He's a good country kid, Angus Clark from South Australia, so I don't mind that.
Probably felt a bit guilty too for the kick that set up.
Just a bit of air in that kick.
Air in the kick that allowed the contact. But no, you're right, I do. I like to see that. He's got a bit of go about him, doesn't he, Angus Clark?
As Andy McGrath said, farm strong, which we love. What an expression. Farm strong, Angus Clark. All of a sudden, it's back under 30 points, 29 the spread. Ball up back in the middle, and we'll do it once again, going nowhere fast. Holmes tackled by Merritt immediately. Umpire chucks it up a second time. Knocked down to McGrath. He didn't one-touch it. Little fumble. Eventually got it to Parrish. He coughs it up. Stengel gives it to Holmes. Kicks inside the forward 50. Kicks wide. Ball pitches, bounce, runs close to the boundary line, and now out. The ump says spin it in.
So Paddy Dangerfield, it's almost like you don't want him to sprint after that ball. Just to save the hamstrings. The ball was always going to go out, but just because of Paddy, how competitive he is, he's sprinting for the ball. If I'm Chris Scott, I'm saying, Paddy, look, come on. You know that's going out. Just let it go.
Who's winning that battle today, Rama?
Pryor's doing an okay job on him.
Boundary throw in, going nowhere fast there. Dempsey tackled by Dersma.
Yeah, look, it certainly raised my eyebrows to start the game, but so far so good.
Goldstein palms it down. Oh, Dersma clipped high in the tackle. He'll get another free kick, and it's against Neal again. Same 2 players involved. So Dersma, right half back for the Bombers. Geelong by 29. 8 minutes gone in the third.
Yeah, he's only the 6 possessions, Dangerfield, but playing deep forward, 5 score involvement. So that's what the Cats want from him, playing in that role.
Out to half back to Goldstein. This article on the ABC website, abc.net.au/sport, where Xavier Dersma talks about being a country kid and the chip on your shoulder to try and make it against the city kids and realising your dream of playing in the AFL. As well this afternoon, the 10th annual country game is so important to those who dream of playing on the bright lights of the MCG. Laverty marks in the right back pocket, kicks up to Setterfield, tries to fend off Dempsey, squeeze the kick out in front of Parrish, running onto a Bailey Smith the other way, got a hand pass to Goldstein, turns and comes back inboard to Caddy, tackled by Guthrie and brought down. Ball at the bootlaces of Gresham, hand pass to Dersma, hand pass to Parrish again, now Johnson at right half forward, looks into the pocket on the lead. Right, couldn't take the mark. Worked underneath in the end by O'Sullivan. It's gathered by May. Hand pass to Caddy, one way then the other. Around to Coroning, gets it back to May. Standing starters across the face of goal. Jack Martin marks on the behind line.
Actually got a Foster score where Dersmers are from. I'll give you that in just a moment on the SMS line as the Cats try and come out of defence. Henry turns it over. And with farm strength, Angus Clark takes the intercept mark 70 metres out left half forward. Puts the Dons back inside 50. Hands on it from DeConey. No marks. Pilsu to Holmes. Hand pass out towards half back. Here's Myers. Gets onto it. Squeeze the kick out in front of Cameron, who's kicked 4. Laverty breaks it up. High half forward for the Bombers. Somehow got boot the ball. Comes out. Myers. Back to Holmes. Geelong back with it. Short kick finds Cameron. He's right on halfway. Pressed up against the boundary, southern side. He's off and running. 2 bounces. Pulls the kick to Neal. Keeps it flowing. Hand pass to Myers. Back inside the forward pocket. Stengel half volley pick up. Has to get around McGrath. Goes with the hand pass in the end to Smith, who kicks a flower bag to the top of the goal square. Guthrie spoils. Day Wicks trying to clean it up. Turns it straight over. Stengel to Cameron. Goal. And he's got 1 for the thumb. And the handball error from Day Wicks leads to that goal. Martin to Cameron pops it through, and Jeremy Cameron now has 5. 10-6 to 5-7. 10 minutes gone in the third term. Saturday footy on ABC Sport.
You want to explain that one, Paulie?
No, you explain the mistake. I was about to laud just the effort, the running power of 3 or 4 Geelong players, really, including Jack Martin, who ends up capitalising on the error, really, in deep defence from young Day Wicks.
Well, Day Wicks is a left footer.
He's a left footer, yeah.
So
real on your left.
He's on his left. Just kick to grass. Get the ball 70 metres away from goal. And Brad Scott there, he's got the picture of him. There's a slight giggle, but it'll be a frustrating giggle. But it's hard because he's a young kid, Day Wicks. So, okay, but they're the lessons, I think, during the week or in game. Like, the runner should be out to Day Wicks now and just say, hey, son, get it to grass. It's okay.
That's a great clip, though, to highlight Geelong's running power. So that was Martin who took the mark right on the last line of defence, and he ends up bombing up for the handball receive. And it was Smith and Cameron and Holmes again.
Martin sends Geelong back inside 50. Dangerfield in the pack. Brought it down to the front. Stengel one way. Gives the hand pass back to Dangerfield. Keen to get involved. The Geelong captain on his right puts through his first goal. Didn't fire last week against the Gold Coast Suns, so able to get involved here, having returned from that hamstring injury. Geelong all of a sudden back out to a 41-point lead. The equal game-high lead of the match, 12-6-78 to the Bombers, 5-7-37. We played just 12 minutes of the third term.
I think the reality with Dangerfield now, it's how they get him to a final series unscathed for the rest of the season. Clearly he's still such an important player. Doesn't play any midfield minutes really at all. It's all sort of forward 50 stuff. But for Geelong to really be a legitimate chance to win a grand final again, a premiership again, they've just got to get into a final series, Paulie.
Yeah, I agree. And Jack Martin's in that boat too, isn't he? So he's a bit of a wild card for this team, having an impact on this game. And we know his history with injury. He's one, if they can manage him through the second half of the year, he could be a real wild card for this team.
Cats by 41. Restart back in the middle. No clean possession. Ball now out on the wing as Atkins got a hand pass away. Clever from right. Just knocked it to Day Wicks. Hand pass comes wide to Setterfield. Short kick finds Martin. Of course, kick 5 on debut against the Cats. Looks inside the forward 50. Kako looking for a juggled mark. Not to be. Cats break it up. Guthrie to Manor. Long kick to the wing. Dangerfield and Pryor. Pryor edges him underneath the footy. Spills out the way of the Bombers. Johnson goes to ground. Got a handball out. And then Pryor was tackled without it. Free kick. Foster beat Tura today. So the SMS line 0437 774 774. Oh, Pryor's kicked it in the man on the mark. Dangerfield trying to win it back. Passing through is Myers. Got a hand pass going forward. That's a turnover too. Parrish back with it. Hold the phone. Knocked down by Dangerfield. Geelong again. Manor hits the post. There's about 6 possessions there where the turnover happened every possession.
Oh, I reckon he could have given it to Paddy then. Sean, the eyes lit up. Paddy had done all the work. Unbelievable defensive work.
Cats by 42. 14 minutes gone in the third. Saturday footy on ABC Sport. We're asking about your country scores, given it's the country game, the 10th edition. We'll bring you a few more of those in just a moment. I know Rama is hanging out for them.
Laverty kicks the Bombers up towards half-back. In the pack, it's brought down by Blackiston and Dersma, but the kick goes out on the full. from Caldwell, and a free kick going Geelong's way. 0437 774 774. As the ball comes in from Guthrie, finds Lawson Humphries across half back. Tom Stewart takes the mark. Ray Chamberlain on the boundary.
Yeah, Geelong have activated their sub to Koning. He came off the ground holding his wrist. He was actually protecting his shoulder, which is now heavily strapped, and they've given away his efforts for the day, and he's taken the jacket.
They'd waited a long time to make that call as Blitzav's long inside the 50. Stanley's there, Shannon Neal as well. The Bombers' defence get back and spoiled it out of play for a throw-in in the right forward pocket.
I've got a couple for you here. So Lara and North Shore both had a pretty rough day, by the way, in the Geelong Football League. So Newton beat Lara 180 to 14. 27-18 to 2-2, and Geelong West did a job on North Shore 252 to 10. It's a 242-point shellacking.
Oh, no.
I'd love to hear Rama's coach's address after one of those games. Manor squeezed the kick for Geelong towards the teeth of goal. In front, Blackiston didn't deal with it. Nick Martin swats it down to Johnson. Gives it back to Nick Martin. He takes a run and a bounce. Hand pass inboard down low for Setterfield. Missed him. Pryor trying to clean it up. Hand pass away to Angus Clark. Chips it out to right half back where Dersma takes the mark. And he's only got Caddy really on the wing, so he has to hold up and buy some time. Feeds it back inboard to Nick Martin. Hand pass to Setterfield. Hand pass to Dersma. Looks in the corridor, nothing an offer there. Cuts back towards the boundary side. Under pressure, gets the hand pass away to Setterfield. He just bangs a high kick up the wing. Have a fly at that, in which outnumbered was May. 2 or 3 on a 1, and Tom Stewart takes the mark for Geelong.
Imagine covering the Lara game and thinking, at least we got the close one. We're not out of the 240-point game. As Geelong work it down the wing, Manor kicks inside 50. Dangerfield between two Bombers. Laverty forces it down. Ball hits the deck. Neal knocks it out once. Cameron paddles it in front. Burns off Day Wicks. Misses.
He ran too far, so the justice there, and he kicked the point.
Ball don't lie, as they say in the NBA. It's a minor score. 5 goals for Cameron already. Geelong toying with the Bombers. They lead by 43 points. 16-minute mark, third term. Saturday footy on ABC Sport.
Pryor out of defence up to the wing where Peter Wright was the target. In from the side. Blitzavs makes the spoil. Late whistle for a push, and it's going Blitzav's way. Ray Chamberlain.
Yeah, I've just had a call in myself. Derek from Dartmoor just called in, and Dartmoor beat Cavendish by 88 points today, guys, and a 16-year-old Jeremy Cameron was in the seniors at Dartmoor. He had a 69-goal season too, so wow. They're having as good a day as Jeremy is here today.
Thanks, Ray. 0437 774 774. Tom Stewart switches across half back to Mitch Duncan. Out to the Shane Warne wing, where the mark is taken by Oisin Mullen. Transitions up to Humphries. At left half forward, he's almost within range. From 50, he sets sail. And through it goes. Another one for Geelong. The Western Australian on the run. And finishing with absolute class out wide to the left. Just his 4th goal of his career, and one to remember there. As the Cats are starting to get a wriggle on. 4 goals to 2 so far in this third quarter through 17 minutes. Geelong 13-8-86 to the Bombers 5-7-37 at Ramanascus. And Luke Ball, your experts, Saturday footy on ABC Sport.
Again, it's just the ball movement from Geelong. Starts one side, goes the other side. Then Essendon, they're just all at sea really in their defence, trying to plug holes. They're trying to play a zone type of defence. I just think when you've got so many young kids in a team, you're just better off playing man-to-man and trying to teach that way to beat your direct opponent one-on-one. Geelong are too good. They'll pick you apart. Their foot skills are just amazing. They've always been that. They just play the game in the right fashion, the Cats. They're so good at just doing the little things really well. And then when it's their opportunity to score, they're able to do it easily.
Talk us through that one, Ray Chamberlain, that bouncing effort from Justin Power.
Yeah, that'll be one that he won't want to have a look back. I reckon he'll hit fast forward when he's doing the review, and we'll just pretend it never happened.
So that was a shallow bounce that spun back over his head and ended up on the wing.
Well, he hit him in the head.
Had to recall that. No surprise there. In the middle of the ground, Stanley knocked it down towards Smith. Got a hand pass out. He's close. Handball over his shoulder. Guelphy collects, tackled, taken to ground, and Humphries, the goal kicker, got him. Marcus in South Melbourne, the Kahuna Kangas, who wear the old Freo 4-colour jumper. And the home of Josh Tracy, 23-22, thrashed Swan Hill 5-2. So that's a 128-point belting. Big win for the Kahuna Kangas. Off the SMS line. Back underway here on the wing, and Geelong win it again at the coalface. Atkins to Stanley. Kicks down the wing. Cats by 49 points. Knocked back into dispute. Caldwell goes in, got it out to Blackiston. Broken up by Neal, only as far as Roberts. He gives it to Laverty and the Bombers are out.
Hand pass into the middle of the ground. Johnson shows a dash, gets away from Graham Myers. Hand pass to Parrish over the top to Daywicks. He's tackled and brought down, loses possession. Myers is kicked, chopped off by McGrath. Hand pass to Parrish for the Bombers. Hurries a kick inside 50, looking for Guelphy. Clears him and Tom Stewart. Running onto it is right. Hand pass chopped off by Tom Stewart. Tackled by Kako was their prior opportunity. Spills out the way of Caddy. Hand pass to Goldstein. Feigns the kick. Hand pass out to Lowell in the left forward pocket. He jacks it back towards goal. Jack Henry in front. Knocks it down to Blitzabs. Hand pass to Bailey Smith. Away to O'Sullivan and back to Smith. Kicks out towards Close.
Yeah, it's good defending.
They just kept the ball moving and Bailey Smith found an avenue out. Closest kick up the wing. Oisin Mullen, the Irishman. It's just short of right half forward. He's got Close running past. Why not give him the hand pass? On the overlap here. Drives it inside 50. Nailed the target. Lost his opponent, Blackiston. He had nothing to do but turn around and go, oh no, he's about to mark.
Wow. Just the pressure of Geelong inside Essendon's forward 50. Just wouldn't allow him that little bit of space to get the ball on the boot to have a shot at goal. So, the margin is 49 points and they're still desperate, Geelong.
Lockie Blackiston tried to start in front, then slipped to behind, and then Shannon Neal just let up, took an easy mark. Looking for his third and his first since the opening quarter. He comes in and nails it through the middle. Geelong with 5 goals so far in this third quarter, and the margin is over 50 points. 55 points. 14-8-92 to the Bombers 5-7-37. Jeremy Cameron has 5 and Shannon Neal now has 3. Luke Ball and Adam Ramanauskas with you. Saturday footy on ABC Sport.
It's so impressive, isn't it? Just their ability is to dial up the pressure there and look at the numbers around the ball. And then what stands out sitting up here, Ram, we've all known about it. It's one thing to know about it with this Geelong team, but another thing to stop it, just their running power. Yeah. Smith and Close was that time. Myers, you look at the numbers as well. It's all supported. Myers has had the 6. They just get up so high and then just torch you on the way back, and at times it was close. And if you don't get body on them, if you allow them just to run up and down the ground, they will absolutely kill you, this Geelong team.
It's a great lesson for the young Essendon players out there of where they need to get to with their running in a pre-season.
Goldstein wins the hit out back in the middle, hunts out after it, and coming off the square, Daywicks grabs it and is locked up straight away. Daywicks out of Bendigo, one of the 15 country players on the Essendon list. Goldstein. Touched on the way through. The man on the mark. Ball spills to Gresham. Centre half forward for the Dons. Hand pass to Parrish. Slides past the would-be tackler. Kicks to full forward. Turnover. And Stewart, backpedaling, takes the intercept mark. 55 points Geelong's lead. He dabs it short in the back pocket for O'Connor. And chips it further afield. And this is Myers. 14-8 to 5-7. Earlier today, an 11-point win for GWS over Brisbane. Jack Payne hurting his knee, a patella tendon injury to worsen a dirty day for the Lions. Essendon force a turnover. Gresham wins it back high half forward to Lamont Lowell. Handball away to Daywicks. He gives it to McGrath. Extra hand pass to Guelphy. One too many for Kako. Slips through his hands. Caldwell cleans it up. Kicks to full forward. And guess what? An intercept mark as Blitzarms picks it off for the Cats.
Wants to try and get it out towards half-back where Jack Martin rises over the top of McGrath. Can't take the mark. Lowell makes the tackle. Down to Graham Myers, who chips it inboard to Bailey Smith. Takes the mark in the left back pocket for Geelong. Off with a dash. He wants to switch to the members' side, trying to get it out to O'Sullivan. Caddy trying to get back. The kick is superb and just reaches the fingertips of O'Sullivan.
Possession 32 for Bailey Smith.
Wants to try and draw Caddy. Gets the hand pass to Blitzabs. Turns and hand passes inboard to Smith. Make that another one. 31. 33, I should say. Robbed him of 2 there. Kicks up to Shannon Neal. He has 3 goals. He's looking for Jeremy Cameron. Why wouldn't you? 1, 2, 3. Just couldn't quite hang on to the mark. And Caldwell brings it down. Hand pass to Parrish. Back inside the defensive 50. Chips it to Lowell. Lumon Lowell has it in the back pocket.
Handball away to Pryor. One of the 5 lefties out there for the Bombers. Goes short to Laverty.
That's 50.
Ooh. Talk us through it.
I just thought...
Mitch Duncan.
He didn't stand, but he mightn't have been told to yet. Got a bit lucky.
Short kick to May. The two debutants out there for the Bombers. Marks on the wing. I promise I'll get to more of these country scores in a moment as soon as I can pronounce a couple of them. A long kick down to half forward, and he's right. Who takes the mark? Roberts is calling for it. He's got a one-on-one with Myers. Roberts, hands in the back, takes the mark. And that was all legal, just held him out, and Roberts has got it 20 out straight in front.
That's... I still think that's a push in the back.
Okay, what do you reckon, Ray? Have a look at this on the replay.
I think if it's his forearm, no worries.
Was it
he's got two hands.
Was it unduly?
Extended.
Ruley.
Like, how is Graham Myers meant to come back?
We'll get to Ray on that after this kick.
When Rammer breathes.
Yes, that's right.
My man Archie Roberts skips in, drop punt, is good. And the young man celebrates his third career goal. And good reward for his work. And the Bombers are mile back. Geelong by 49 points, 14-8-92. Essendon 6-7-43. Time on in the third, Ray Chamberlain.
Yeah, look, in a marking contest for a push in the back, you're looking to see whether the player's protecting the drop zone of the ball or whether they create the space by that pushing motion. Hard on the replay up there. You need to be side on to see it. It looked okay to me, but in other news, Essendon have activated their sub. Archie Perkins has come on and Archie Day Wicks has come off.
Oh, Archie for Archie. What's the terminology, Ray, that we need to look out for?
In relation to pushing the back?
Yes.
Yeah, unduly.
Unduly. There we go. That's the key word. To differentiate. Certainly had hands in the back. Was it the unduly push in the back to create the space? Rama certainly thinks so.
Well, he's got his arms extended with two hands in his back.
Goldstein back in the middle, wins down the tap to Setterfield. Can the Bombers add to this? Kicks up towards Guelphy. Spoiled away by Tom Stewart. Ball hits the deck. Blitzhouse first onto it. Hand pass to Humphreys. Back to Stewart. Luol came charging at him. Gets a hand pass over the top to Martin. Kicks it out wide of Myers. He and Roberts collide. Roberts tries to toe poke it towards the boundary. Myers kept it alive momentarily. That was over the boundary line when he hit.
This will sound like whinging, but if you're going to allow that against the defender, a defender then should be able to chop the arms.
Ray Chamberlain on the boundary.
No, what I was going to say, I absolutely understand Rammer's lament there. I've been concerned about the way in which the umpires are being asked to instruct marking contests, push in the back for some time. So we sit in the same bucket on that one, Rammer.
It's far more friendly than when I was curious earlier today about the 50-metre penalties, and he told me to stop interrupting him and let him answer the question. I felt like I was like Gary Lyon, like a player again, and yet I didn't play at the highest level. A throw-in on the wing goes out of play. Geelong by 49 points. The 50-metre penalty in those games, the final term between Hawthorn and Adelaide last night. Corby, you were down there. The Crows fans used up all their good footy karma the week before.
Got a question for Ray too, maybe one for three-quarter time, about that Darcy Fogarty incident late in the piece with a spoil out of bounds, and obviously the resulting free kick to the Hawks led to what turned out to be the match-winning goal. Hurried kick from the stoppage from the Bombers, only as far as blitz halves. He picks it off, sends it down the wing. Martin, that's Jack Martin for the Cats, kicks inside the forward 50. Dangerfield can't mark, brings it to ground, rolls onto his right boot, and the champ joins the chat. Kicks it through for a goal, and Patrick Dangerfield pops through his second of the day, and in fact his second of the term. Geelong with their 15th. 15-8-98, Essendon 6-7-43, 28 gone in the third. Saturday footy on ABC Sport. Just a quick one off the SMS baller, you'll love this. I'd like to point out my old club, Yarrawea, near Cobram, gave Asava Radagalia his start in football. His father played rugby, but there were no local clubs for young Asava to play with, so he got his start in footy. People in nearby Cobram said, go out to Yarrawea, because he'll certainly get a run there. I believe he lasted a season and was drafted to the Murray Bushrangers the year after.
Good story. You love those stories. Just giving any kid a start at a football club, they'll remember that. They'll remember that journey, no doubt, if they ever go any further in their career. But just Paddy Dangerfield there, at the age of the years, he still recovers better at ground level than any player in the competition with just how quick he gets back on the ball. 35 years young, Patrick Dangerfield. 55 points is the lead for Geelong, biggest lead of the match. Caldwell at centre-half back gathers for the Bombers. Hand pass to Setterfield, away to Merritt, and now away to Roberts. Hand pass to McGrath, hemmed in at right-half back, tries to cut back inboard. Hand pass to Merritt, the captain looking for options. He's going to have to kick laterally out towards Nick Martin, who marks at left-half back.
Martin looks around the members' wing. Nothing really on offer, so comes inboard. Kicking, looking for Merritt. He takes the mark and plays on. Around Holmes. Kicks for Kako, who marks directly in front, 45 metres out from goal.
Oh, it's good ball use, isn't it? And it's the times where they have looked dangerous and have been able to transition the footy today, Rammer, is when they've lowered their eyes. Still kept the ball in motion, but you wouldn't say it's a quick play, would you? But keeping the ball moving forward, just slowly, just changing angles as well. That's been the key. Martin, it's a beautiful kick, really. A bit sloppy there in terms of defence and blocking up the corridor from the Geelong mids. And again, Merritt with a pinpoint pass inside 50.
6 goals, 3 for the season for the first-year Bomber, but hasn't kicked one in the last 4 weeks. Isaac Kako comes in from 45. It's a good kick, and he's on the board this afternoon. He is trying to make his mark on this Essendon side, and the teenager comes the margin back to 49 points Geelong's way. 15-8-98 to the Bombers, 7-7-49. Saturday footy on ABC Sport with Anna Romanaskas and Luke Ball.
Oh, I'd just love to see Kako hit the scoreboard more in the second half of the season. Now, he's left one out in Essendon's forward line really to apply pressure, so he's doing a lot of unrewarded work where he's running and chasing and trying to tackle, because simply in Essendon's forward line there's not many others that do it. Guelphy coming back into the team certainly helps that. So, when he was playing underage football, Isaac, he was having
multiple goals,
6 or 7 shots at goal a game. So, his natural game is offence, but he's having to do a lot of the defensive work at the moment for Essendon.
Yep, only his 7th goal for the year. I'm with you, Rem. Not to see him be a bit more selfish.
Parrish, clean hands away to Merritt, who bursts his way through, kicks inside 50. Henry jumps up over the pack. There's a free. I think it's a downfield free, as Merritt was pushed in the back by Mullen after getting rid of the footy. So it'll result in a free kick inside 50, and 2-metre Peter's going to be the recipient. As Clinchy said, just 1 goal in 5 weeks for Isaac Kako.
I was looking down the ground, so I didn't see the free kick.
No, definitely there. Definitely there. Just a step after he kicked it. Mullen a little bit frustrated that he's let Zach Merritt off the chain a little bit this quarter.
Merritt's up to 23 for the day.
He's had 9 for the quarter.
Only had 14 for the game last week. Peter Wright kicks his second of the term. And the Bombers for now trading blow for blow with the Cats. The problem is, before that, they fell 40-odd behind. So Geelong by 43. 32 minutes gone in the third term. 15-8 to 8-7. Peter Wright with a couple today. Saturday footy on ABC Sport. Cats by 43.
Yeah, well, they've had 12 inside 50s to 11, the Bombers, for the quarter. The problem is that every time Geelong go in, they look like they're going to score, don't they? They kick 6 goals, 2 from those 11 entries. Bombers have kicked 5 straight. So, again, they're sticking at it, aren't they? They haven't put up the white flag, and a lot of that's led by their leaders through the middle of the ground. And Merritt has had a good quarter, as we said. Setterfield, Parrish has started to work into the game. And Peter Wright has started to get on the end of a few this quarter as well.
Had more of the footy in this third quarter. 105 disposals the Bombers to 82 Geelong. With Ball and Anna Romanaskas, your experts. Ray Chamberlain down the boundary. Matt Clinch and Corbin Middlemass calling upstairs. Stanley wins down the tap against Goldstein. Running onto it, Bailey Smith. Over 30 disposals once more as he kicks into the forward pocket. Foot races on. Dangerfield comes charging out. McGrath gets there first. And the ball goes out of play. It's Fisher in 10. So Danger will take the free kick at left half forward. He wants to poke it into the pocket because Stengel has a couple of metres on Pryor and takes the mark.
That's a tough ask on Andy McGrath there. He gets the ball and then he's basically got 2 steps to kick it.
In the optics.
Should have shaped to kick it, shouldn't he? I mean, you've always got to be a good actor these days at times, don't you?
Or kick it. Just kick it and make sure you're over the boundary line.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, kick it. Yeah, run over the boundary line and kick it.
Tyson Stengel, after his 4 goals last week, opens up the angle, curls it around the body and sends it home. Even he's applauding as it goes through in the left forward pocket. Paddy Dangerfield comes over with a wry smile and gives him a rub to the top of the head. And Tyson Stengel has his first goal of the afternoon. Geelong are starting to rack up the goal kickers now, back to a 49-point margin. 16-8, 104 to the Bombers, 8-7-55. Adam Romanaskas and Luke Ball with you on ABC Sport.
Yeah, he's here. That's a harsh one, I think, Paulie. I always think about it, particularly these insufficient intent. Yep. Are we calling all these in a final series?
What do you reckon, Ray?
We're calling them on any given Sunday, Rammer. I mean, the intention of the law is... Well, if it's a rhetorical question, mate, let us know.
Yeah, well, it is. It is, because there's a lot of free kicks that are paid.
You know what, Rammer?
I love that. I love that, Ray.
I'm doing a few games in the upcoming weeks. I'm going to get you down, and we're coming down to do one together, mate. I can't wait to see you roll with the whistle in hand, brother.
But holding to that, Max Holmes goes bursting out of the middle with the Sharon. Kicks to Dangerfield. Oh, juggled effort, not quite. Ball comes out. Pryor goes to ground. Essendon win it back as Clark grabs it. He's tackled straight away. Gee, can't wait for Ben Cameron to read those umpires out. R. Chamberlain, A. Ramanauskas.
Radar will work beautifully together.
How good's it going to be? What an outing that'll be as Goldstein grabs it out of the ruck and then hurried kick forward for the Bombers. Guthrie paddles it out in front. Got a hand pass away towards Blitzarves. Sweeps a handball along the line to Stanley, who's rolled over and tackled out of play by Guelphy. The ump says spin it in. Boundary throwing. Now the Mighty Trios, not a country club, but a thirds team of battlers, won at Kew, holding out a late charge from Bo Morris today. Neil Balm was in attendance from Emmett and Parkville. Thanks, Emmett.
That's country football league, going that far to Kew.
2J defeated Gin by 107 points in the Mortlock League from Muzzer. Thanks, Muzzer.
Guthrie kicks up towards Manor. McGrath in front, spoils it down. Zach Merritt gathers. Siren sounds for three-quarter time. Geelong with a 7-2 third quarter, and the Cats lead by 49 points. But the Bombers showed spirit and fight. At times the margin threatened to balloon over 10 goals, but the Bombers fought back. 16-8, 104 Geelong to Essendon 8-7, 55. Jeremy Cameron has 5 for the Cats, 3 to Shannon Neal, 2 to Sean Manor for Geelong. While individuals, 2 Holmes, Humphreys, Stengel, Dangerfield and Close. While for the Bombers, 2 goals to Peter Wright, 2 goals to Matt Guelphy. Individuals to Kako, Gresham, Roberts, Dersma for the Bombers.
Port Lincoln, Marble Range, 7-14, beat Wayback 6-7, so a 13-point win there in the Port Lincoln Footy League. And I think it's Lucknow. Is it Lucknow? What are we going with there in Gippsland? Beat, I think it's Boysdale Brigalong. I hope I pronounced that correct. Give me that again, Craig, sorry. Bragalong is how it's pronounced. A 5-point victory there for Lucknow. So that's in the Gippsland Sunshine. Winning goal kicked with 3 minutes to go. We love that. Well done to Lucknow. A few of the country scores today as we celebrate the country game in its 10th edition here at the MCG. Cats by 49 points. There's another game of footy still to come tonight. We'll tell you more about that next. Saturday footy on ABC Sport.
Step back 66 million years.
When amazing creatures of epic proportions ruled the earth.
Join Bertie Carvel for Walking with Dinosaurs. Stream all the episodes now on ABC iView.
This is the 2025 AFL Premiership season on ABC Sport.
Eddie McGrath feeds a hand pass back to Clark. Tries a poker kick over the top. Where the contact was Dersma. This might be 50 against Shannon Neal. It is. Dersma comes in. X marks the spot. The bow and arrow returns. And the Bombers have some spirit in this third quarter.
Stengel half volley pick up. Has to get around McGrath. Goes with the hand pass in the end to Smith, who kicks a flower bag to the top of the goal square. Guthrie spoils. Day Wicks trying to clean it up. Turns it straight over. Stengel to Cameron. Goal. And he's got one for the thumb.
Mitch Duncan out to the Shane Warne wing, where the mark is taken by Oisin Mullen. Transitions up to Humphreys. At left half forward, he's almost within range. From 50, he sets sail. And through it goes, another one for Geelong.
Jack Martin for the Cats, kicks inside the forward 50. Dangerfield can't mark, brings it to ground, rolls onto his right boot, and the champ joins the chat. Kicks it through for a goal. And Patrick Dangerfield pops through his second of the day, and in fact his second of the term.
This is ABC Sports coverage of the AFL.
On your radio.
ABC Sport Digital.
And on the ABC Listen app.
Cats by 49 at three-quarter time. Saturday footy of round 14 continues next. North Melbourne at home in Perth against the Dockers. Clint Wilden heading up the call. Good afternoon, Clint.
Thank you, Corbin. Happy birthday too, by the way. The second time the Dockers have played here
in what is an away game against a club other than West Coast. The first time back in 2018 against Gold Coast. About 33,000 turned up that day, hoping for a similar crowd today. This is the second of North Melbourne's 2 games this year in the West. They come here after their victory against West Coast down in Bunbury. It was a very errant West Coast that allowed North Melbourne to get those points. The Dockers had won 3 straight before last week's bye. They are in the middle of what will be 33 days without having to leave WA. So a big chance for them to really set their season up. They're in 8th, North, of course, in 16th. The ruck battle's going to be most fascinating. Jackson and Darcy up against Sherry. Overcast at the moment, about 18 degrees and a 25% chance of rain. North up against Fremantle here in the West. Looking forward to it, Corby.
Thanks, Clint. All the best with the call. Clint Wilden there at Perth Stadium for the Kangas and the Dockers. Our next stop here on ABC Sport. All right, the Bombers down by 49 as we turn for home. I feel like it might be out of reach for the inexperienced Dons.
Oh, yeah, no, certainly out of reach. It's just by how far really now for the Cats. But look, Essendon, their own worst enemy again in that quarter. Kick to handball ratio, 50 kicks, 57 handballs. And then you look at metres gained. Essendon had 20 more disposals in that quarter than Geelong, but Geelong had 300 more metres gained. So it just shows, and Paulie mentioned it a couple of times in that third quarter, just the run and it's the length of their run. It's not like a short 10-metre little sprint. It's a 50, 60 metre powerful run by the Geelong mids and half-backs. Geelong go inside 50, 13 times that quarter, 7 goals too, so 9 scoring shots. So, it's all becoming just a little bit too easy for Geelong. Really, the only hope that Essendon have if Geelong take their foot off the gas a little bit and the scoreboard becomes a little bit more respectful. But these young Essendon players, it's a great lesson for them today. They're playing against a super experienced Geelong team that have some real quality players. Yeah. So much finals experience. They can learn a lot. And these are the lessons that you need to take into a pre-season.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and from Geelong's point of view, can they put the team away? Can they put the foot down and show no mercy to this young Bombers team? I mean, we think that this Geelong team, we're pretty sure they're going to be there, aren't they, at the pointy end, and that top 4 percentage might be a factor down the track. So can they? I'm sure that'll be the challenge for Chris Scott and his coaching staff. Can we continue to be stingy in defence?
Yeah,
and then efficient when we go forward with the ball.
There's one for you, Bally, off the SMS. How is Parrish starting to get in the game? He might get the ball, yet what does he do with it, Bally? Loving the call from Jacinta.
Good call, Jacinta. Yeah, I mean, he gets a lot of the footy. We know that. I was probably more referring to the Bombers' midfield collective in that second quarter in particular. I just thought they just stemmed the flow a little bit, and that's the challenge for Darcy. We know that. I mean, coming back, cut him a bit of slack. It's his second game back, I think, from a long-term injury. Yep. He's found it. He's had 23 possessions, but kicked it at 29%. So only 2 of his 7 kicks have hit the target, and that's been the knock on him, hasn't it? And the I guess the thing that's kept him from being an A+ player, even through that period where he was an All-Australian and best and fairest winner.
Final term underway, Geelong by 49 off the back edge of the square. Humphrey's got it, kicks wide, finds Dempsey, who marks, puts it inside 50, and there's Pryor floating through, taking a nice intercept mark for the Dons. Kicks his left footer along the half-back line. Oh, mark taken by Clark and zigs his way around. The oncoming would-be tackler in Stengel sends a kick down the wing. Goldstein just reaching for it, takes the mark over the top of Henry. He kicks inside the forward 50. Blitz halves and right, bounces off the head of Peter Wright, close to the boundary line, and in the end, O'Sullivan shoved out of play by Caddy. That's been an interesting matchup. Obviously, 2 guys in rising star contention. What have we thought?
Wow, and also Essendon traded up to get Josh Caddy, and then Connor O'Sullivan was the next pick in the draft. So those two were playing each other for a long time.
You Carey Jakovic. The boundary throw-in. Caldwell kicks to full forward for the Bombers. Kind bounce for Dersma on the end of it. Shoots goalward and in the end lucky to score behind. Wild shot from the right forward pocket. Geelong's lead now 8 goals neat. So 16-8 to 8-8. 90 seconds into the final term. This is Saturday footy on ABC Sport.
Tom Stewart brings the ball back in to Bailey Smith, possession number 35. He kicks up towards the wing. Humphreys managed to keep it in. No, he didn't. As Dempsey The hand pass to him was across the boundary line and a boundary throw in. Centre wing on the Shane Warne stand side.
Phil from Victoria, we know the Cats are good, yada, yada, yada. What can you say that is positive about Essendon from Gary?
Ooh.
Sorry, that's from Phil in Victoria.
It was 90-odd points, a month ago against the Western Bulldogs. So I guess that's the target for the last month. It's been respectable as the players have gone out.
I know Angus Clark's made some mistakes, but he's a go-forward player. So I think he's a real positive, that somebody that you can clearly work with over a pre-season as a halfback flanker and winger, and will play a lot of games for Essendon.
Setterfield and Merritt combined. Setterfield kicks up towards half forward. Right can't take the mark. Kako through traffic. Hand pass chopped off by Jack Henry. Feeds it back to Mitch Duncan. Hand pass to O'Shea Mullen. Switches it out to the members' side of the MCG where Shannon Neal takes the mark. Now he has no one at centre half forward, so he waits for Jeremy Cameron just to run into space. And Blackiston trailing him sees just how hard Jeremy Cameron is willing to run. He marks at left half forward. Players streaming past him, including Shannon Neal, who's heading back in 50. Reece Stanley is the deepest target with Dangerfield as well. Cameron looks into the pocket, just pulls his kick at the last moment, finds Humphreys. 55 metres out. Now the kick for Neal. In front, Merritt dropped the mark, but Nick Martin's there to clean it up. Hand pass to Perkins, the sub out of defence.
Oh, caught Caddy wrong-footed as he just chips the pass, and Henry awake to it, dives forward, cuts it off for Geelong. Another intercept possession, kicks inside the forward 50 for the Cats. In from the side, Shannon Neal rips it down, marks right forward pocket for Geelong.
Now, that's the challenge for this young team, is that I think they're efforting close and in tight. You look at the contested ball numbers and tackle numbers, they've been okay today. It's just when they've lacked composure, especially coming out of the back half through the middle of the ground and turn the ball, that's just an unforced error from Archie Perkins. And then their ability then to snap into defence, we call it. I mean, Shannon Neal there, 6'7", stood on his own for 5 seconds, didn't he? He took an easy mark.
Whack, Neal into the post. Behind, 16-9 to 8-8. 49 points, Geelong lead it by. We've travelled 4 minutes into the final term Saturday footy ABC.
And that's the game these days, Ramo. Like the best teams, Collingwood, the best teams at causing turnover and then punishing and scoring. Because every team turns it over, and then defending when they do turn it over. Snapping into defence and being able to restrict damage the other way when they turn the ball over. That's where these up-and-coming, emerging young teams need to get to.
Martin out of defence, balled out of play by Close, thrown back in. Free kick going the way of Todd Goldstein for over the shoulder. The 36-year-old trudges back. Can he see out the season, Rambo?
I hope so, because they're going to need him to. Unless they're prepared to play Blackiston in the ruck or Visentini.
I don't think he's had a centre bounce, has he, Blackiston, today? I mean, you might as well. You've got him out there. I get it, you're very light on behind the footy, but throw him in the centre bounce and let him run and jump at a few.
Back to Laverty, who kicked down low for Merritt. Got it to Caldwell. Tackled by Atkins. He does that better than anyone else. Free kick holding the ball. Tom Atkins can take it.
What keeps getting Tom Atkins a game week in, week out?
He is the number one tackling player in the competition. At 126 before this afternoon's game. Inside 50. It gets to the back. Hand pass to Dempsey to Close, and Merritt runs him down. Holding the ball, free kick going the way of Zach Merritt, who reeled him in up against the left behind post.
Put that on the review. The captain with a 1%er, a chase down tackle, teams down by a boatload.
Yeah, and there's been a bit of that today.
Yep.
They're getting back to that caller before. I mean, think about Settlefield's run down. These are the things that, they're not going to get anywhere near the result, but you have to keep building your team, your culture on those sort of acts, regardless of the scoreboard.
I think apart from the Adelaide game, which was a horror show in the Western Bulldogs match, they've been competitive every week, the Dons. They've had a crack. And clearly
they're absolutely decimated. Yeah. I mean, they've got 7 or 8 of their best. Certainly their best 18 now.
They've got about 10 guys, 190 centimetres plus missing. 13 on the injury list. Cats win it back on the wing. Here's O'Sullivan. High kick down to half forward, but McGrath picks it off. The Bombers' only number 1 pick in the club's history, and appropriately in that jumper number. Gives it off to Roberts, the 1-2. Now kicks down the wing. He gives it back to O'Sullivan. We're back where we started.
It's that's been the real issue tonight. They just continue to give it back to Geelong when they're going into attacking positions.
O'Sullivan in the middle of the ground for a corner. Hand pass to Holmes, drives it long to a one-on-one. Cameron and Laverty. Cameron trying to protect the space. Couldn't take it. Gets it to Stengel, hard against the boundary. Tackled by Merritt. McGrath gathers. Hand pass to Setterfield. Away to Merritt. Chips it up to Caldwell. Right half back. He's kicked to Dursma. Set him a challenge. In front of Humphries, he's too strong and takes the mark. It's on the 45, kick for Perkins, he telegraphed that. Dangerfield intercepts it, hand pass to Holmes, away to Bailey Smith, into the pocket looking for Stengel, and he takes the mark. He hadn't moved too far for that previous effort inside 50.
They've turned the ball over, I reckon 7 or 8 times across Geelong's half-forward line. They're trying to force the ball back into the corridor, but the kicks just haven't been there.
According to my laptop, 12 goals from turnovers,
which is
Geelong's way. 12 of theirs, 16.
Could be record sort of stuff.
As Tyson Stengel is out to the left, he has one already. Starts his approach. It was a good goal from the left forward pocket. This time he flirts with the left goal post. And this is the wrong side of it. 51 points, the Cats lead at the 8-minute mark of the final term on ABC Sport.
Nick Martin with the kick-out duties goes short to Perkins. And pass back to Martin. Drills the pass low, trying to link up with Clark. Turnover picked up by Holmes. Bangs a high ball inside 50. Dangerfield in the wrestle. Laverty knocks it away from him. Ball spills down to McGrath. Essendon back with it. Pryor had the blinkers on. Caught. Stengel got him. Advantage applied. On a platter for Myers, who hooks it through for a goal. And the forward pressure leads to another major. And the Cats licking their lips late in the piece here. 17 goals they put through. 17-10 to 8-8. And the margin is now 56 points the Cats' way. 9 gone in the final term. Saturday footy on ABC Sport.
It's great pressure. You wouldn't be worried if Geelong didn't want to apply that in this last quarter, because the game's obviously gone for Essendon to win it, but it's just an appetite. There's an appetite to do the right thing continually, and that's why they're able to have 27 scoring shots at the moment, and 17 of those are goals. So they're just a professional outfit, the Cats.
Yeah. They're just such a dangerous forward line, isn't it? Just tall, small, in the air, on the ground, pressure. Dangerfield's the X factor down there.
Back in the middle of the ground. Bailey Smith lays the tackle. Parrish squeezes the kick. Another turnover. And Guthrie takes intercepting mark. Hand pass away to Max Holmes. Kicks out wide of Myers at half forward. Nick Martin missed it. Myers' hand pass looking for a corner. Chopped off by Parrish. Hand pass to Nick Martin. To Goldstein. Links up with Archie Perkins across half back. Now the hand pass to McGrath. Inside the defensive 50 for Pryor. Switches out to right half back, where Zach Johnson runs out of defence. Kicks over the fingertips of Lumon Luol, and the mark is taken. And Mark Blitzav's on the wing.
Isn't it the beauty of Mark Blitzav? So the Coning gets subbed off, doesn't he, early in that third quarter. Blitzavs, who plays the first half on the wing, say, Mark, run around to Mark, back you go and play on Peter Wright.
Was he an all-Australian corps sent off back at one stage, Blitzavs?
Oh, that's way too far.
I don't think he's ever been an all-Australian.
He hasn't ever been an all-Australian?
He's been the squad a couple
of
times.
Category B rookie, Mark Blitzavs. Free kick going the way of the Bombers, where O'Sullivan was run down. It's a good chasing effort in the end by Archie May, and the kick up towards the wing where Caddy takes the mark.
His first mark for the game, Caddy.
So 3 times in the squad. He was in the team, Ram, in the Premiership year, 2022.
He was.
There you go. He was in the team 2022.
There you go.
He's been a brilliant player for Geelong.
Jack Henry takes the mark for Geelong inside the defensive 50. Kicks out to Brian Myers at right half back. Myers looking to switch back inside defensive 50. Connor O'Sullivan is going to take the mark. Switches out to left half back. Humphries on the run. Chips it over the top. Mitch Duncan in game 303. Sends it up the wing, and Jack Martin takes the mark. Spoke with us last Sunday on AFL Sunday about potentially playing on next season. Said he's very aware about where Geelong's prospects sit at the moment, but he's also looking forward to the next chapter of life, whatever that might be. Up to Bailey Smith, who kicks a searching ball in the middle, looking for Shannon Neal. Just off the outside of the right boot, a centering ball. And Shannon Neal marks 45 metres out from goal, directly in front. Bailey Smith is up to 39 disposals. His record is 43 against North Melbourne back in 2022 when he was a dog.
That's under real threat. Unbelievable game back in after a week off, Bailey Smith. And I thought Will Setterfield was putting a bit of work into him in that first quarter, but since then, I'll tell you what, Rammer, he's run around on his own a fair bit. But his running power is just extraordinary. It's just it's a joy to watch.
Shannon Neal looking for his fourth from just inside 50. Straight through the middle it goes. A pump of the fist. And they are becoming quite a duo. Cameron with 5 this afternoon. Neal now with 4. After their efforts against the Bulldogs a couple of weeks ago, their future forward line is starting to gel. Geelong by 62 points, 18-10, 118 to the Bombers, 8-8-56. Adam Manaskis and Luke Paul with you on ABC Sport.
I just think it's the power running of this Cats team. That's what separates them. It's not Essendon that they need to be worrying about when the whips are cracking. It's can they compete with the Geelongs? Can they compete with the Collingwoods and the Brisbanes of the world? Adelaide even, Hawthorn. So these performances are good to refine parts of your game, but it's got to be refined to a point where it's going to beat the other contenders.
Yeah, I think they're the second seed at the moment. Not just off the back of Brisbane stumbling today. I think Brisbane are just going at the moment, aren't they? It feels like we know that what their best looks like, but their inability to find it at the moment on a consistent basis. I think there's a pretty clear top 2 at the moment.
62 points the margin. The Cats get it going forward again, but Roberts puts an end to that. Handball away to right. He can't take it clean, and now he becomes the tackler on Neal, so ball up in the middle of the ground. Smith sitting in front of Ray Chamberlain, so 39 disposals for Bailey.
The Seagulls.
They got him.
Hey?
Jeez, it's amazing how this happens late in the game. They somehow find a way through, and Fortress has been breached. Into the MCG they come. There's a kick inside the forward 50. Guelphy has it smothered off the boot. Caddy competes, but loses that battle. O'Connor grabs it, and he's tackled. Ball up centre half forward for the Dons.
Sort of like one comes in,
and
then
I'll go.
Then the rest, I'm not going to get hurt. I'm in now. I'm in as well.
Geez, they must have some fun, I reckon, flying around the Jeep at night.
It'd be a good place to look for a feed, I imagine, as well, as Atkins kicks inside the middle of the ground. Cameron, handball away to Dempsey. He's off to the races. 2 bounces, closes to 20 out, pops it through. Party time for Geelong. And the Cats are on their way to another big W to make it 10-4 on the season. And Ollie Dempsey joins in the party, his first of the day. 19-10-124, Essendon 8-8-56. It is 68 points at the 14-minute mark of the final term.
Yeah, well, he goes. There's probably Jackson Pride couldn't go to him because it just would have been an easy handball over the top. So he was waiting for another Essendon player to chase, but again, just more evidence of that running power of Geelong. And Ollie Dempsey hasn't been in the league too long, but he's already got that great attribute that you need as a winger.
Here comes Baz, back on the ground, looking for number 40.
No, that'll happen.
Oh, yeah.
So this is the 6th consecutive game he's gone 30+.
Crowd posters as 61,643 fans in for the 10th annual country game. And here he is, Bailey Smith on cue. Possession number 40 as he kicks Geelong up towards half forward. McGrath balls it away from close. Myers' kick inside 50. Cameron too strong. Takes the mark in front of Laverty. He wastes no time. Jags onto his left. Puts through his 6th. Jeremy Cameron has had another afternoon out at the MCG. And Geelong's lead is 74 points, and this might get ugly for Bombers fans here this afternoon. 20-10-130 to the Bombers, 8-8-56. They've had over 15 more inside 50s in this match, the Cats, and now they are threatening to make them count. 4-0 in the final term. Adam Ramanauskas and Luke Ball, your experts.
Broken it open now, haven't they? And at time it was just centre clearance and Brian Myers, who continues to be underrated, really. I mean, I think everyone's well aware of his strengths, but he's just such a smart player. He's tall, Joel. These Geelong forwards their eyes just light up every time they look up and see him with the footy in his hands in that launch pad area, and just kicked it into space. Poor Jaden Laverde, he's battled on, to be fair. He's against the odds and under the pump, under the weight of inside 50s. He's tried hard, but not much he could have done about that.
5 in a row for the Cats either side of three-quarter time. The Bombers with a bit of go forward. Caddy can't take the mark at half forward. Stewart intercepts it. Hand pass picked off by Lamont Llewell. And he can't trap it. Spills it out of play. He's another country lad. Lamont Llewell out of Warrnambool. So one of the 15 country Bombers on their list. They've got 8 of them playing today. And jumper number 34 for the Dons. Of course, his debut last Sunday night. And boundary throwing. Come down in front of Martin. He's held up. What do we made of Jack Martin's second game back? Former Sun, former Blue in his new colours.
Yeah, he's covered the ground well.
Yeah.
Played out in the wing. I mean, what a team to just ease your way back into.
If ever there was a club he was going to go to and get his body right.
Well, and again, at his best.
Yeah.
You know, and his brand of footy, he's tough. He runs hard. He can catch it overhead. He can kick goals. He's someone who...
Good user.
Yeah, he's someone who could seriously have an impact at the pointy end of the year. That Nate Caddy call, just after that breakout game against Brisbane, just back down to earth a little bit in the big league the last 2 weeks.
Goalless last week, goalless so far tonight. 17 minutes into the final term, margin 74 points Geelong's way. Still to come, the Kangas and the Dockers next from the boundary throw-in. Stengel squeezes the kick out. Humphrey so clever. Taps it away to Duncan's advantage. Gives it to Guthrie. Kicks down the wing. He's close.
He takes the mark. Looks up at half forward. Dempsey trying to get back. Gus Clark gets a fingertip to it. Dempsey trying to run onto it. In the right forward pocket has Myers over the top. Hand passes to him. Such a clever player with a footy. He goes for home and misses to the right-hand side.
Yeah, they were queuing up two in the middle.
Stengel had his hands on his hips. Normally he's pretty good at finding them, Brian Myers.
Yep.
75-point lead Geelong's way.
The Dons bring it in. Centre field and half-back comes wide to Duursma. The Bombers still have a bit more footy before the bye. They trip over to Perth next week to play the Dockers on Thursday night, so short week for both the Bombers and the Purple, who are still to play. That's our next stop on ABC Sport. They play North Melbourne tonight. Meanwhile, short week for the Cats too. How good is this going to be? Friday night in Geelong. Oh, there's a turnover here. My apologies. As Essendon trying to use it inside their forward 50. Ball spills the way of Myers. Gives it to Nana. And he tumbles through a goal. And he got the hop that it required as it rolls through. And the Cats continue to pile them on. As Essendon thought they were having a short kicking game in their back 50. Archie Roberts drops the mark. Close to Mana. And that's all she wrote. 81 points is the lead for Geelong. 19 minutes into the final term. 21-11, 137 to Essendon, 8-8-56. And what I was trying to spit out was Geelong played Brisbane Friday night at Kardinia Park.
Beautiful big game. Archie Roberts, an apology call was Andy McGrath who dropped the chest mark, dropped the easy mark, and that was clever from Brad Close. I tell you what, Shorty Manor, we've loved his game. Sometimes he gets the blinkers on. That needed to bounce through because he had Jezza Cameron, and yes, I've still got Jezza for 8. He had Jezza Cameron all by himself, and he just snapped blindly and got the good bounce. But that's just an unforced error again from Andy McGrath. It hasn't been the Bombers' worst tonight, but a bit of fatigue set in. They've just been chasing backside for the last 15-20 minutes, the Bombers. They're out of gas.
5-0 in this final term. Atkinson's hand pass to O'Shea Mullen, dumped in a tackle as he got his kick to half forward.
What's the highest score for the season, Clinchy? Do we know?
I reckon Adelaide might have it.
Yeah.
150 against Essendon, I reckon it was.
Yep.
Stand by.
There's a few records to start having a look at. Stengel tries to chip it over the top, looking for Manor. Can't take them up, but he does rip it back in against Pryor. Duncan, hand pass to Stengel, right forward pocket. They're lining up, it's offline, and Blackiston knocks it out of play for a throw-in.
Highest score is 161. Adelaide put that on the Bombers. So this would actually come in at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is the 6th highest score of the season so far at 137. Still a bit of time to go.
So 21-11, 137 Geelong at the moment. You mentioned that match, the Cats against Brisbane next week. Of course, Geelong play 5 of their last 9 down at Kardinia Park. So they're 2 games behind. Collingwood at the moment a win will close that gap, but they're still your number 1 seed, Paulie.
Who's at the Pies?
Collingwood, and then Geelong closing.
So. Yeah, and not daylight, but gap to third for mine at the moment. And with that draw, really, I mean, a top two position is there for the taking.
I just feel like Geelong's best is better than anybody's.
Yep. Their system.
More firepower. Yep, that's a fair comment too.
Losses for Brisbane and Adelaide this round as the Bombers try and find an avenue out of defence, and Johnson takes the mark from the kick of Zach Merritt under pressure. These two sides, Corby, do meet again back in round 22. That'll be a Friday night in Geelong as well.
Gee, they've given them a whooping over the years, the Cats. So this will now be 20 of the last 23 meetings. Geelong have beaten Essendon. As the Dons try and come out of defence, Tersman turns it over. Holmes the intercept mark. Short kick to Stanley. And he marks inside 50. He'll have a look from 40 metres out. And as stoic as the Bombers have been with the mounting injury list, this has got a little ugly late. So the last 6 in a row have gone the way of Geelong. There's also a Best of Field award for the country game.
Okay. Who's that named after?
The game's only named after Tom Wills.
Oh, of course.
So it's the Tom Wills Best of Field award. This game's only growing run year on year. As Stanley leans back on it, slots it through beautifully. And the Cats are putting up a cricket score at the G. 23-11. In fact, 22-11. 143. They lead Essendon. 8-8-56. The margin is 87 points at the 23-minute mark of the final term. The Cats have kicked the last 7 in the game.
In the 4th place now on the list of high scores this season. Now the Cats at 143. So
100 points is on here too.
Yeah, it is.
The biggest margin of the season so far is 91 points.
Oh, it's in real danger.
Against?
It was the Dogs whacking Essendon and Collingwood beating Port. So these two teams tied for it at the moment. The Bombers could win it outright. The heaviest loss.
Yes.
Or the inside 50. Well, it's 14-5 in this final term.
Yeah, it's just the run again. It's open right up.
Just a young back line for Essendon. They've made so many mistakes coming out of defensive 50 tonight, and Geelong are just dined out on it. They set up better than any team behind the football, Geelong.
Reece Stanley becomes the 11th individual goal kicker for the Hoops. Goldstein wins down the tap. Perkins in the middle of the ground. Hand pass chopped off. As Holmes gets it away to Humphreys up towards half forward. Flying was Pryor, went the spoil rather than the mar, and may come back to bite him as Neil runs onto it. Hand pass missed Stengel. He tries to sock it off the ground. It ricochets off McGrath. He gathers, kicks it short to Johnson. Back to Andy McGrath. Gets around Myers with a hand pass out to Roberts. He cuts back on his left-hand side. Boundary side up towards Caldwell. O'Connor in front. Rises the Irishman. Caldwell kept his feet.
The numbers.
Taken out of play by O'Sullivan.
With that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I know we're on the radio, but I feel like this last quarter, that's a telltale, isn't it? The freeze frame of the screen. It's just way more Geelong jumpers around the footy at all times. Bailey Smith might be done for the day, I think. Probably coming off. So the door's open a bit for the Dash brother, the other Dash brother. I think it's a bit of a toss of the coin, Rammer. For the Tom Wills award today.
6 disposals in the final term for Bailey Smith. 41 for the match. His record is 43 back in 2022 as a Dog. Max Holmes has got 8 disposals in this final term. Mark O'Connor kicks up towards Dempsey, who marks it right half forward. It's all one-way traffic in this final term.
It's a big award. I did hear a few whispers from the dressing room. Everyone was pretty keen to win it, the inaugural Tom Wills award. As Dempsey gives a handball away towards Humphreys, kicks inside 50 for the Cats. Neil competes, no mark, ball hits the deck. Stengel got it out towards Atkins, hand pass on to Holmes, shoots Goldwood, puts it out on the full. Behind for Holmes. You were all over this, Paulie. It was you and I think way back in Gather Round. You said, I don't think there's ever been a pair in the history of the game that have gained more metres than Smith and Holmes.
Well, they were neck and neck, but Smith's going to end up with about 760 and Holmes in the last couple of minutes. So here he is again.
Essendon turn it over. Great forward pressure again from the Cats. Not giving Essendon any room to breathe. They're so buttoned up defensively. As Manor threw it out, Kako intercepts it. Gave it to Laverty. Long kick down the wing for the Bombers, and it's staying in the Geelong front half as Stewart takes an intercept mark. He goes back to O'Sullivan, who marks.
Mark number 14 for Tom Stewart.
Wow. And he chips it to Atkins on the wing.
You feel like he hasn't really had that great of a game, Tom Stewart.
Only 3 of them from turnover, or opposition kick.
In the middle of the ground to Myers, who spots up Reece Stanley leading out. It's kicked to goal in the final term before the injury to Sander Coney. They were trying to sort of whack Stanley and Blitzavs. Blitzavs would go in the ruck. Stanley would try and push forward against Goldstein. You are seeing some of the coaches just try a few of these tactics, no doubt, to try and work out what will be the keys when they play the top 8 sides. And Reece Stanley with 4 goals so far this season, looking to add another. Ruckman gets underneath it, hoofs it towards goal. and misses to the left-hand side. 88 points is the lead the way of the Cats. 26 minutes gone, final term.
This is what they've struggled with, the Bombers, trying to get the ball out of the defensive half. They haven't kicked a goal for the quarter. They've conceded the last 7 goals in the match. Setterfield to Caldwell. Long kick to Laverty. Going laterally, the Bombers. Headed north-south rather than east-west, which sounds counterintuitive, but the way the ground runs, you know what I mean. They need to head west. There's Laverty. Sends a hand pass away to my man Archie Roberts. Long kick down the wing. Floating through Stewart. What number?
15.
15 marks for Stewart. Looks back corridor. Links up here with O'Connor, who marks the premiership Cat inside the forward 50. Neil a hand on it. Hits the deck. Cameron paddles it out in front. Tight angle, trying to hook it back over his shoulder right to the behind line. And Johnson punches it through for a rush behind. Make it 22-13 to 8-8. Geelong by 89 points. 27 gone in the final term. 89 points.
Roberts in the back pocket, trying to find a way out for the Bombers. O'Connor brings it down. Myers hand pass to Stanley. Little slow to gather into the pocket. Kicks looking for Dempsey. And Zach Johnson spoils it out of play. So the Cats have the Brisbane Lions, as we touched on, next Friday night down at Cardinia Park. Richmond and GWS in the weeks to come. Bombers have Fremantle in Perth on Thursday night. The Gold Coast Suns and Richmond in their next few games. Chris Scott will be the winner in the 1000th game between the two brothers. What a contribution they've made to the game, first as players, now as coaches. Chris, a 2-time premiership coach, as Perkins gets the hand pass from Goldstein. Kicks up towards half forward. No mark claim by Day. He puts in a big tackle as the ball spills clear on Myers. Knocks it up to Archie Perkins.
It's a nice milestone, but they probably could have done without making it 1,000 points the margin. To the little milestone for Chris and Brad Scott, and as you said, another win for Chris. That makes it 12-5, the head-to-head record. Close to the boundary line. Bombers thought it was going out. Dempsey screws it all the way to the goal line.
Wow.
Ollie Dempsey kicks one out of his backside from the right forward pocket. A few others gave up on it. Ollie Dempsey didn't. Gets the kind shepherd on the line. And all of a sudden, it is the widest margin of the season.
100 points are still on.
The Cats by 95 points. 23-13, 151 over Essendon, 8-8-56. 29 gone in the final term. Saturday footy on ABC Sport.
Well, that's a contender, Bully, I think. So that's a one-step check side from 45 metres out. And he meant it. He wasn't trying to centre the ball.
Stengel was good, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Stengel just stripped Archie Perkins and then the no-look handball over his head, and then that's missed the padding by a millimetre, hasn't it?
As the
brilliant
Bill Laurie would say, coat of varnish.
The padding on the post just had to breathe in as that ball went through.
David Roden right on point, smiling as it went through.
Oh, no, we got Snicker. Oh, I was going to... thought we did.
It's a crooked bounce.
Crooked bounce.
Hang on.
I've just called it a contender for goal of the year.
Just warming up for your umpire duties. Yes. I understand. I'm looking forward to that as well. Atkins tries to get a hand pass away. Out to Max Holmes. Is there time for more? Kicks up towards half forward. Manor had a hold of Johnson's jumper. And the umpire spots that. A free kick for the Bombers at centre half back. They've been under fire this afternoon. Johnson straight down the middle. Won't quite get to Peter Wright, and Reece Stanley sitting in the hole. Cops one to the ribs in the process. And takes the mark at centre half back. Looks out to the left, looks back to the right. The ruckman pushes right back, call to play on. He's going to chip it back to Tom Stewart. Into the back pocket. Stewart through the middle of the ground. Finds O'Connor. O'Connor at centre half back. He'll chip it out to Guthrie. And the siren will sound. The biggest win in terms of margins of the 2025 season. The Cats do a number on the Bombers by 95 points in front of 61,643 fans. The Cats are making their move in 2025.
We are Geelong, the greatest team of all. We are Geelong, we're always on the ball. We play the game as it should be played, at home or far away. Our banners fly high from dawn to dark, down at Cardinia Park.
Geelong 23 83-13, 151. Defeat the Bombers 8-8-56. That's 5 straight wins for the Cats. They now jump up to second on the AFL ladder. And that's 12 wins for Chris Scott over brother Brad in their 1,000th game as a player and a coach. The Cats just simply too strong, prevailing by 95 points at the MCG.
So stand up and fight. Remember our tradition. Stand up and fight. It's always our ambition. Throughout the game to fight with all our might. Because we're the mighty blue and white. And when the ball is bounced to the final bell, stand up and fight like hell.
They're going with the second verse these days, Geelong, and it felt like for Essendon fans they were listening to a lot of Geelong celebrations throughout that second half. 7 goals to none in the final term. The Cats prevailed by 95 points. They led by 23 at quarter time, by 35 at half time, by 49 at three-quarter time, and they finish with a flurry. Jeremy Cameron booted 6 goals for the winners. Shannon Neal kicked 4. 3 goals to Sean Manor, 2 goals to Patrick Dangerfield. Individuals to Stanley, Holmes, Humphreys, Stengel, Myers and Close. While for the Bombers, 2 goals to Peter Wright, 2 goals to Matt Guelphy. Individuals to Kako, Gresham, Roberts and Dersma.
Cats up to second. I think we knew it leading in. We'll certainly confirm coming out there is a country mile between them. A 95-point win for the Cats. Saturday footy on ABC Sport. Luke Ball and Adam Ramanauskas.
Look, it's a powerful performance by Geelong. You can't take anything away from a team that's won a game by 95 points against, albeit an opposition that's young and inexperienced, but at the same time, it's still to come here and be as professional as you are as an organisation, as a football club, and get the job done the way they did. Essendon have had 12 more disposals than Geelong in this game of football and lost the game by 95 points. So you look at scoring shots; they've had 63 inside 50s. Geelong for 36 scoring shots. So, ultra efficient when they went inside forward 50. Essendon only had the 38. The ball lived really in Geelong's forward half. So the turnover game, Geelong played unbelievably well. They kicked 16 goals, 11 from turnover today. So, incredibly good defensively. Geelong again, which we've just come to know from them. That's how they've played the game for so long. They're the best team at sitting behind the ball. They're the best team at providing the tease space for the opposition to kick to, and then they're there. They're there. Once they're there and the ball turns over, they're as good as any team of going back the other way and finding scoring opportunities. Paddy Dangerfield, for example, he's had 11 possessions for the game. He's had 10 score involvements. Yeah. So, it's sort of a maximum impact game. Jez has kicked 6. Shannon Neal's kicked the 4. We've mentioned Bailey Smith and Max Holmes, how good they were for the entirety of the game. Tom Stewart has had 16 marks, all uncontested, 16 uncontested marks. So,
did they give up a bit in the end, the Bombers, or they just get worn down?
Well, I think worn down. Yeah, I think worn down. Yeah, I mean, this is and we've heard Chris Scott talk about their athletic profile, more than anything. And you just see it. You sit up here, Ram, and you just see it. And not only when the game's over and everyone's sort of, filling their boots a bit and getting there. It's all day. It's up and back, and it's their forwards, it's their high forwards, and it allows a Dangerfield just to play bare in the square, to sit for 0 to 30, because he knows that everyone else has got the running power to get up and back. And I even saw Jack Martin doing it now. So that's another one they've added to the mix who can do that as well with their versatility. Blitz halves, plays on the wing. When they need him to go back, he goes back. Connor O'Sullivan, I think he's their best runner, isn't he? At 6'5" or whatever he is. Yeah. And then, the 2 boys in the middle of the ground, they are just at the peak of their powers at the moment. Bailey Smith, what a performance off a year off from the knee. Quite apart from the distractions that are happening off the field at the moment. On the field, it is just a joy to watch him go about his work at the moment. Max Holmes is just continuing to take another leap, and then it's the small forwards just keep doing what they do. Myers, they just challenge the opposition, don't they? They just test you out in so many ways. Geelong in the air, at either end of the ground, and then just with their running power, like we spoke about through the arc, it's just impressive.
I think if you respect both sides of the ball, both the offense and the defensive side of the game, you're going to be a good team, and that's what Geelong have done for so many years. They respect both sides of the ball, even in a margin like that. You know, they're still tackling and harassing inside their forward 50 to try to win the ball back. So, look, I think it's a great lesson for Essendon tonight. You've come up against probably the most professional team in the competition, and that should, for those young kids that have played there tonight, there's the blueprint of where you need to get to as a footballer, from running capabilities, from efficiency point of view when you do win the ball, and how to take the ball forward, but also from a defensive point of view. When margins get like that, you know, you see other teams, defenders edging forward, wanting to kick goals. Geelong just hold their structure behind the ball, just do the right thing.
That looks a million miles away.
Yeah,
like for the Bombers at the moment, you think about how well tuned they are and how good they've been for so long.
Yep.
Like, how awesome would it be to be a Geelong fan? Like,
unbelievable.
14 times in the last 21 years they've made a prelim. So 2 out of 3 years they make the last 4.
Yeah.
Like the best weekend of the year, they get the prelim weekend, and then obviously premierships in that time. 4 of those. They've given their supporters great.
They have.
Bang for their buck.
They've created some advantages, haven't they, with you know where they are in their club and the program they run. But I'll tell you what they don't do, Corp. They don't overpay. They don't pay blokes $1.5 million for 8 years. They never have. They never paid Dangerfield that. He could have got that, but they create this environment where and you know and Chris Scott was asked about it. And you know what does that? Winning.
Yeah,
winning more often than not. And that's what they've been able to do. And you're right, imagine being a Geelong supporter over the last 15 years.
The other part which Chris Scott alluded to is selection starts to become really curious, is that he feels the pressure. He's dropping guys like Ted Closey who are doing nothing wrong. Mitch Duncan has been the sub. We spoke to him last week about with the late change to Bailey Smith. Did he think he might get a chance to come in? He said, no, that role was issued to me very clearly in the week. That would be the role I'd be playing. So he feels the pressure of trying to make sure that they are making all the right inroads to be right come September when it matters most.
Professional. They're just a professional organisation, and I'm lucky enough to deal with them in my Monday to Friday job of what I do, and they're professional in the way they go about that as well. So it never ceases to amaze me the world of AFL that we live in, and the roundabout of what teams should go on. Geelong stay at the top of the roundabout.
Jeremy Cameron started the weekend with 38 goals. All of a sudden, he now moves to 44. So Jesse Hogan kicked 6 today. So that margin is 6, but Jezza is on top of the Coleman.
What a performance. Geelong, they win every quarter. They win comprehensively. 23 at quarter time, 35 at the half, 49 at three-quarter time, and 95 in the finish. Let's go into the winners' rooms. Ray Chamberlain's down there.
G'day, guys. It's fairly subdued. I think, you win by 100 points, and I think it's just job done again for a really professional outfit, as you've intimated. Lots of kids in here, though, and I will say this, they're all wearing headbands, so it's catching on down here, the headband.
What can you say, Ray? Talk us through it.
Essentially, there are just lots of laughter amongst the boys, lots of kids, and in fact, I'll tell you what, I don't know what they're doing down there, but there's a lot of breeding going on. The father, son, daughter, and the daughter
in the rooms.
Father, daughter. There's a lot of kids in this circle, mate. There's as many kids as there are players.
Oh,
they're about to sing the song now.
Is that a country tune?
Job done, boys.
It's just routine. That's what they do. They roll up, they spank teams that aren't at the level, and they go home and they win and sing the song. And so they have again this afternoon a 95-point win for the Cats. We'll chat to one of the winners.
And now they come up against Brisbane next week, which is a great, exciting game of football.
Rematch of the game of last year, the preliminary final.
Yep. Sure was.
Well.
Jeez, imagine this. You've just lost by 95 points, and then the fitness staff ask you to go and just do a couple of run-throughs out on the ground. Archie Perkins.
Well, I mean, we talk about the winners, but Archie Perkins shouldn't be starting sub, should he, in this team? With the amount of players there. Top 10 pick, 4th year, is it, or 5th year?
Or would you rather be doing this, or would you rather be playing at Port Melbourne tonight where Ben Hobbs is playing? And the VFL,
that's the reality that they got to face.
Yep.
And it's... Okay, you get picked in a certain position, so you've got the pressure of that draft pick. but you've got to go out and perform, and you've got to go out and develop. So it's on the players, it's on the development coaches to develop these players to get to a level. So you look on the other side, how many first round draft picks are in there?
I can tell you that.
Yeah,
Geelong. To work our way through it. First round.
Where you find that Geelong play 5 of their 9 matches to close at Cardinia Park. They only play 2 top 8 sides to finish with. One is Brisbane next week, and the other is GWS. So it's a chance for them to really put the pressure on Collingwood, who are out in front. They've done so much right throughout the season that, as they always do, Geelong, time their run in the back half of the season.
Bombers have 16 top 20 selections on their list. Geelong have only 9.
Oh, I was going to say 7. I just counted 7. And some of those
tonight.
In the team, you count Jack Martin.
Cameron, they didn't draft Cameron. They didn't draft Danger.
Jack Martin.
Yeah, Jack Martin, they didn't draft.
We'll come back to that. The Cats are ready for us. Back into the winners' rooms. Ray Chamberlain.
Thanks, guys. And we are down in the winners' rooms, and I'm here with Zach Guthrie. Our 10-4 sees the Cats outright second on the ladder. It was a dominant display from you guys across the board. What was the focus coming into this week's game?
Yeah, we knew that Essendon had been really good in patches throughout the season, and I feel like their ladder position sort of reflects that. They're sort of pushing for the 8, and they played some good footy at times, and we knew that in particular their second half was going to be strong. But I thought, we played in a pretty good fashion. Sort of in that last quarter, we were able to put together a few goals, which probably made it look like a bit more of a blowout than it was. But yeah, really pleasing.
You talk about putting a few goals on. You guys are racking up some pretty decent scores, over 100 points again today. You look up forward, you've got Jez, Paddy, Shannon, and then the smalls are all hitting the scoreboard. When you get the footy and you're wheeling up, tell me what's going through your mind when you're looking up and seeing those boys.
Yeah, when you mention those guys, it's a nice luxury to have. We're pretty lucky having Jeremy, who seems like he's pushing for the Coleman medal every year. He's just got an unbelievable ability to sort of insert himself on the game and make himself dangerous. And those other guys, Shannon was really good tonight. Tyson again, Brian, he's probably one that you're just happy to give it to, and he hits up our forwards as well. And I think Brad Close has been playing really well for us. Good to see him hit the scoreboard, but to be honest, everyone down there is just playing really well, and making it good for. I guess we can take it forward with confidence, and if we don't need to be precise, we can put on their heads, and they're creating really good contests.
We've talked about the blokes, the Roosters up forward. They get enough of the attention. What I was really interested in is watching the guys down back. You're starting to get a few back together, and there's getting some continuity. That must give the side enormous confidence, having the likes of Jack Henry and co back there now and getting some continuity together.
Yeah, Jack's critical for us. He's been really good since he's returned back into the lineup, and he played his 150th game the other week. I was really proud of him to see that milestone. He's battled with some injuries, but he's been such an important player for us for a long period of time. And then Stewie missed a couple of games throughout that middle patch of the season, so getting those 2 guys back for us is critical, and I feel like we're gelling really well at the moment.
Now, mate, when I first saw you play, and I was still umpiring, I think the first time I saw you live, it was an Easter Monday game, and you weighed about as much as me. Now, you're standing here in front of me now, you're a big unit. Your role's changed amongst the side, attending a few centre bounces. Tell us a little bit about your role and what you're looking to do for the rest of the season.
I don't know if I've attended any centre bounces. But, I've tried to work pretty hard on my body. It's sort of taken a bit of time. I came in and I was still a bit underdeveloped, so I've tried to work really hard in the gym, and I've had a lot of great people around to really help with that. And I've just been desperate to try and play a part for this side and really contribute where I can.
Boys, any questions that you might have, Fran?
Zach, well done. How'd you pull up? I think it was the first contest of the day. You knew you were in a game. You went back with the flight and collided with I think it was big 2 metre Peter. You pull up okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. Sometimes, you just got to go for the team, and that was, I think I started on the bench and that sort of happened straight away. So sometimes those things are a nice way to get you into the game and feel like you're really immersed in it.
It's been spoken about a lot, but sitting up here, it was just a joy to watch today, just the running power of your team. I've heard Chris Scott talk about actually your profile, your athletic profile, either by design or just the fact that, the group of players that you've assembled. How do you shape up? I'd imagine that the 2K time trial in pre-season is pretty well contested, I would have thought.
Yeah, we've got a number of guys who are, unbelievably fit. You see Brian getting up and down the ground every week, Closey as well. Those two work really hard for the team and play some really good, important roles for us. And then obviously as well, you sort of see Max Holmes. He's able to put on the Jets probably 6-7 times a game, which is unbelievable. It's a tiring thing to do to sort of run at full speed, but I mean it's probably not full speed for him, but he's still able to burn guys. But that's super impressive as well. And we're building that. We've got even Connor O'Sullivan come in. He's been playing awesome, and he's covers the ground really well. So it's a nice luxury to have.
Zach, we know about your superstars, and obviously they're celebrated externally, but it's the other guys. You talk about a Tom Atkins who's leading the league in tackles at the moment. Sean Manor is a top 5 general forward. Yourself with your intercept marking, you look like an absolute clone of Tom Stewart at the moment. How is that celebrated internally, the lesser lights, but that do so much for the result for the team?
Yeah, you mentioned those two guys. I love playing with Axe. He's just someone that you know what you're going to get every week, but I feel like in a way that sort of almost pinpoints him into being a guy that's not talented. I think he's absolutely a talented player with the ball, and we're really seeing that this year and the last few years. He's such an important player for us on the defensive side, but obviously when he gets the ball, he's really creative, and he's one of those guys who's been delivering the ball forward really well to Jez. And Sean Manners started the season injured, and he's been able to come back and play an important role for us as well, and he looks super dangerous. So those guys certainly don't go unnoticed internally, and they're really important teammates and guys I really enjoy playing with.
Zach Guthrie with us on ABC Sport. Zach, it was your 80th consecutive game today, which is the longest active streak of any Cat. Interestingly, though, you've only played 10 of the last 62 with your brother Cameron. Can you give us an update on how he's going? When are we likely to see him again?
Yeah, hopefully soon. He got back and played a few VFL games, and he didn't end up playing this week. They sort of just managed him a little bit. So I'm really hopeful that we'll see him towards the back end of the year. As you said, I was sort of pretty lucky to play so many games with him at the start of my career. Probably shouldn't have taken it for granted because it's been a while since we've been able to get that continuity together. But I'm really hopeful this back end of the year that we can see him fit and firing again, and I think if he gets back to that, he'll play a really important role for us in this back end of the year. So fingers crossed, I'm really hopeful that I can play some footy with him in this back end of the year.
Zach, you don't need him anymore. You're the better Guthrie now anyway.
I don't know about that. He's done some pretty great things on the field. So he's going to be an important player for us.
Zach, you're Brisbane next week. Some banging games down there on a Friday night this week. Must be excited.
Absolutely, yeah. They're obviously one of the best teams in it. They the reigning premiers for a reason. They were super impressive last year, obviously, and then we played them earlier in the year, and they're obviously a test every time we come up against them. Looking forward to being back in front of the home crowd. It's always a really great atmosphere, so that's one that we'll really look forward to. See how we go. It's always good to test yourself against some of the best.
Well, thank you, mate, for being so generous with your time here. I can see we're getting the hurry up. So, mate, congratulations on another great victory for the Geelong Footy Club, and all the best next week.
Cheers. Thanks, guys, for having me.
Thanks, Zach. Appreciate that. Zach Guthrie from the Geelong Rooms, one of their 14 premiership players that was out there today. Thanks to Ray Chamberlain as well for his work downstairs. If you've just turned the radio on, Geelong won by 95 points. It was 23 at quarter time, 35 at the half, 49 at three-quarter time, and 95 in the finish. The Cats kicked the last 8 goals. It was the widest margin of the season. They had 11 different goal kickers. Jeremy Cameron bagged 6. He's got 38 for the year, and he is the equal Coleman medal leader with Jesse Hogan. And the Cats go to second on the table, a 10-4 record, a powerful performance. Who wins the Coleman, by the way? Cameron or Hogan? Who would your money be on?
Add another 6 to Cameron. So he's 6 clear of Hogan, who kicked 6 today.
Yeah.
Apologies. Takes him to,
But he's playing
40.
closer to goal now, isn't he? So his role has slightly changed, where he was higher up the ground. They were trying to play Dangerfield more as a deeper forward. We rattled through the numbers he's had in recent weeks. So his last 5, he's had 7 goals, 6 goals, 5 goals, 1 behind against the Gold Coast Suns in a day where he didn't need to fire, and then 6 again today.
Yeah, good little period.
Yep. Yeah, he's
Hogan, Cameron and Jamie Elliott, they're certainly the hottest forwards at the moment.
Well, he's benefiting from the extra firepower in the middle too, isn't he? I mean, you look at Smith and Holmes. We talk about them in particular. The meters game. Well, the part of that is just the number of inside 50s they get. So they don't always go they're not always lace out, are they? But they're becoming predictable, aren't they? In terms of their penetration, the way they play, and their deep forwards, Cameron. It makes sense to keep him closer to home.
Who's their most important player? Who's the guy they cannot afford to lose?
Oh, that's a good question. Without notice.
If they lost either Bailey Smith or Max Holmes, that would put more attention on the other, wouldn't it?
Yeah, so that happened last week, and Holmes came out of the ground, had 40 and won them the game, didn't he?
Yeah.
So,
and they're also within a whisker of playing off last year, and they didn't have Bailey Smith.
Yeah, and I think, as I said, I think there's a clear top two at the moment, and I think I agree with you, Ram. I think their best might just be a little bit better than Collingwood's.
Wow.
I think. Well, they beat them. They beat them 6 weeks ago, I think it was. And it was a close game. Obviously, could have gone either way, but I think it's a clear top two at the moment.
I think the one they can't play with is Cameron. That would, if I was picking...
It would expose his Neil, doesn't it? Correct. Yeah. And Dangerfield is as much of a champion as he is. He's not, not altogether proven as a key forward, is he? We think it'll suit the team well, but
more than Tom Stewart.
Yeah, I think they've been able to cover Stewart.
I think with Zach Guthrie, he's that...
Jack Henry back.
Yeah, he can intercept. So
and O'Sullivan as well. And then Blitzars can go back. So
just so low.
Yeah, they're stacked. They're just huge.
And they lost Sam de Koning today, so it's almost the Noah Ark. They've got 3 in each spot. They've got 3 forwards. They've got 3 gun midfielders. They've got 3 key defenders.
The only role that they don't necessarily would say have a bona fide, and they haven't though, is in the ruck. And Reece Stanley just keeps get the job done, holds his own. He gets support now from Shannon Neal, who's gaining in confidence. So,
but that'll be the crunch call, won't it? Because Chris Scott has shown through history that Mark Blitzavs is his man. If he knows that they need a contest nullified, he'll go to Blitzavs, and that's where Stanley might get squeezed out of the side. But I guess for the moment he has the position. It's his role to try and prove that he can have enough of an impact.
Well, you look at the time, and you wouldn't be confident against of him going up against a Gawn, would you, per se? But when you look at the other top 4 teams, he should be able to hold his own against the Darcy Cameron. Oscar McInerney, who's out with injury at the moment. Riley O'Brien's at Adelaide, isn't he? And so...
Well, they were linked during the week to Luke Jackson in the little trade whispers. Imagine that if Geelong got someone like that in. It'd almost be unfair.
It would.
Put them over the top, and they got everything else covered. A huge win for the Cats. They win by 95 points over Essendon to win the country game. I haven't heard who won the Tom Wills medal. We didn't get a
obviously do it down in the
official
rooms.
Presentation.
Well, that was going to sort of help us with our votes here too. I'll tell you what, if you're 34 and played 303, do you reckon you could be spared the extra strides and the laps after the game? Yeah. Mitch Duncan's just topping up with an extra 5 or 6K out here, and he's actually waving at some of the fans too up in the corporate boxes. Why not?
There's another game of footy to come. We'll take you there next. It is Fremantle and North Melbourne. There's no late change. Robert Hansen Jr., the sub for North, and for Fremantle it is Nat 5, so he will start as the sub there.
What sort of crowd will they get? Because that's a North Melbourne home game, so all of a sudden the Perth fans who normally get the home game ticket have to buy a ticket.
Free or winning? I'm probably a little out of my lane. I'm going to still guess
30,000?
35 plus? Yeah.
Bonus for the Dockers, isn't it? Bonus for their fans.
Absolutely. I think closer to 40.
Freo are in Perth for 30 plus days. It's its first time ever, I think. So
they've got the Bombers there, of course, next Thursday night. Earlier today, GWS 17-5 beat Brisbane 13-18. So that's 22 scoring shots to 31, and yet the side with 9 fewer shots won because bad kicking is bad football. And the Brisbane Lions sprayed them everywhere again today. An 11-point win for GWS. That's huge in the context of their season. So big win for Adam Kingsley's team. Jack Payne hurt his patella tendon. So that's even more sour for Brisbane after the defeat. That's a couple on the bounce now as well, obviously, after the loss in Adelaide last week. So an 11-point win for the Giants over the Lions. And here it was the Cats by 95 points over the Bombers. The votes in the ABC Footballer of the Year.
Well, we're going to give I think the top 2 were pretty clear. And we go here, Rama, quickly. We'll go with Jeremy Cameron for 1 vote. I think when you kick 6 in today's footy, albeit a 100-point win, it's a big number. I thought he could have kicked 8. I had him for over 7.5 when he kicked 2 in the first 8 minutes.
This will be interesting, though, the 2 and the 3. Which way is he going to go? Who does he rate higher?
Well, I'm going to go to Max Holmes. A little bit of ball. I'm going to go with my man for 3, Bailey Smith. But, yeah, toss of the coin. Be nice to hear who voted on the Tom Wills. Is that the umpires or is it the journos?
I'm going a little bit off script, but we did get a little inquiry during the week about about who we had as part of our call team and
thanks, but no thanks.
From the voters, and then we never heard any more.
Yeah, I thought Smith's first half set it up. He had 25 possessions in the first half, and then Holmes came with a rush late.
What score did Bailey Smith go to?
Don't go there, Rat. Country boy. Big numbers, though. Holmes 36, 13,
both brilliant.
13 contests, 8 clearances, 10 inside 50s, 870 metres and a goal. Smith had 41 and spent the last 6 minutes on the bench.
How much are we crediting to Andrew Dillon for his little campfire catch-up?
Oh, he's been doing it all year, hasn't he? Yeah, not sure. But
Bailey Smith stood in the stands last week and watched Max Holmes get 40. I think, what, I'll go out and do that next week.
Can do. That's right. It's a good 1-2 punch, isn't it? The Dash brothers, they're going to be hard to stop.
Well, if you're worried about scoring last weekend, the lowest scoring round in many a day, you got it tonight, 23-13 to 8-8, Geelong 151. They smacked the Bombers, so biggest margin of the year, 95 points over the Dons. We'll try and get that to you at some stage during the night. We might send it over to our team in Perth if we haven't heard. Who took out the Tom Wills medal was the player adjudged best of field in the country game. The final crowd, 61,643. And we got about 90 seconds. Final word on today, or quick word on tonight. Take it in any direction in which you like. The Kangas and the Dockers up next.
Look, I want to see the Kangas go again. Last week, they fought enormously hard to get that win against West Coast late. But I want to see them go again. I just want to see the Kangaroos continually grow. On the flip side of that, this should be a win, an easy win for the Dockers. Really, if they've got any designs on being a finals player this year.
Yep, just have to go out and win. Yeah, in a way, it's a little bit of a gift for them, isn't it? Yeah. A home game, an away home game, if that makes sense. But just go on and win the Dockers and keep their momentum going. And we've got the black jumpers on with the purple.
I don't mind it. I don't mind it.
Time to get cobbling for free. I get to work. I'm going to be listening to South Africa just to see if there's not any nervous moments in the World Test Championship. And then I'll
get one, don't we?
Flick back to the cricket on the ABC Listen
quick
app
ones
for our drive home.
A good plug. ABC Listen app, red cricket ball button, and you can toggle between the footy and the cricket the whole way through if you want to keep listening to the footy, as you'll hear here on ABC Radio. The guys in Perth will keep you updated with everything that's happening. There's no late change. It's North Melbourne and Fremantle. It is coming up right here on ABC Sport as we sign off here from the MCG. Bailey Smith got the medal. He won the Tom Wills medal. So Luke Ball vindicated with his votes. He gave 3 to Smith, 2 to Holmes, and 1 to Cameron. The Cats, large. They win by a country mile at the G.
The ABC Listen app has it all. The British and Irish Lions Tour of Australia, Wimbledon, the World Test Championship, and West Indies versus Australia. Oh, and did I mention we're doing the footy every weekend? ABC Sport on the ABC Listen app.